We're good on YouTube. The one issue with Restream is it like randomly will fuck up. So you got to be like on your toes every time you use it, which is pretty annoying. But for the most part, everything works out. So I'm just going to double check because sometimes it'll stream on Restream, but not on YouTube. It's good. Let's fucking go. Okay. Guys, what's cooking? Favorite noodle on the block pasta. Back with another one today. I have NFT pasta on the podcast. I'm super pumped. I've been waiting to do that fucking intro for like months, dude. Like I literally get so pumped to hear that intro.
Thank you. Kosha likes to say it every time I speak to him. He's obsessed with it.
How long you known Kosha for?
No. Sorry?
How long you known Kosha for?
I've known Kosha since I was following his calls in Brett's Discord pre-Magic Mushroom. So I was following his calls and a couple other people back in the day. And then this is how I actually started out in the space. I then became a community mod for Brett's server, and then the Magic Mushroom server, and then Kosha's Plug Pass server. And then I eventually stepped down from that because I didn't have time to actually do anything when I actually started making content myself. So I've known Kosha from then. I remember he gave me whitelist for that. For the
Let's go, Kosha.
Because it was minting at like 4 a.m. my time because I'm in Australia, obviously. Yeah. And I was like, I can't be waiting up till 4 a.m. Can I have whitelist, please? He's like, yeah, bet.
King, dude, that's fucking hilarious. Were you? When did you start making content? Then it was after you had been like modding and stuff, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna check the date. I think it's like November because you were on this shit super early, right?
Yeah, I think I got in like in August, started making videos about it, but
I'm gonna check now. Okay, yeah, 9th of November, I uploaded my first one.
Damn.
That was on Phantom related NFTs though.
So, yeah, I heard you talking about that with Nate. I remember I watched that little episode he did on his channel. So that's like a random protocol to be on.
Yes, it is. It's just because I was invested in it at the time. Like I bought in at Phantom around, I don't know, 15 cents or something, and then it ended up going up to like $2 or $3. I definitely didn't cash out all at like the top there, but I was just kind of immersed in that whole ecosystem because there was a lot of community related stuff like before the NFTs, even like just investing groups talking about Phantom and the different protocols and shit. And then NFTs started popping up and I saw them on ETH at first, and then I was like, oh, maybe I'll get into them. And then I realized the people in the fan communities were actually talking about it. I was like, oh fuck, okay, let's get into it. They were doing cool stuff. Like I remember one of the first ones on Phantom, I think it's legitimately the first NFT project on Phantom, is like a full dual pixel dueler game. Not like a super in-depth like actual game that you'd play with advanced kind of tactics and stuff. Very simple, but it was a really cool concept, and it was all the way back in like legit like probably October or something. It was ages ago, so they were doing really cool stuff over there. Like I remember that one specifically had a really cool minting system where it was unlimited minting, but it just got harder and harder to mint them, and to mint a new one, you had to go onto the website and enable minting, and it could take anywhere from like 5 minutes to 30 minutes depending on how good your computer was, because it was actually like mining for the NFT.
What?
Or you could just go through, or you could just go through and swap through ones that other people had mined but then had passed on and decided not to mint. So every time, like you could get these new duelers because they're dying game, and then the NFT was pretty much useless. You could then go mine new ones, and it's like you get it's just really advanced for the time. It was weird, but it enabled a lot of stuff because Phantom's like Solana, like really quick, low fees, stuff like that. So it was interesting to start on for sure.
Have you gotten in on any other communities like that? I mean, I know you're mainly on ETH right now. Are you trading Solana NFTs? D-Gods?
I don't really trade them. I did get Utes whitelist.
Bastard.
I haven't seen many of the other guys get it. I was surprised I did because I don't make like Solana content. I made a video on Utes though. I just what's it called? I streamed it, and I was reading over like their, not even a white paper, but their document talking about the copyright thing. And then I just put that up on YouTube. Called it the next Bored Ape because why not? So they may have saw that, and because my application was really, really fucking simple. It was literally just like,
so was mine.
Like 4 words, legit. It was super simple.
Do you think I should make a video on them? Like, should I stream something like tomorrow morning? Because I'm still in review.
Yeah, they're ending it like tomorrow, aren't they?
Fuck. I don't know. I just like submitted it a while ago and I was like, maybe I haven't made any content on it. I remember Tom told me that I could have gotten on that project, Gentlemen's Club, I think it's called, or no, Croquet's
Yeah.
Club for
Yeah,
Iman
yeah.
Gadzhi's project, which went to 10 ETH, bro. Like if I just spent fucking, yeah, it went to 10 ETH. And I remember, and I was like, or 10 or 11 ETH. And I texted Tom and he's like, yeah, you literally could have gotten that. And I was just like, what do you mean? He's like, bro, he like allowed anyone who like put in a little bit of effort. And I was like, motherfucker. I was like, no, I didn't think I was qualified. I didn't even bother. And that flew to 10 ETH. You needed to have like $2,000 to $5,000 to mint it though. So that's where the risk was, because I was like, what if it doesn't do well? Like, I don't even know how, like, I don't really know this guy that well. And I don't know what his community is going to be. Is he a Ty Lopez situation where it's going to just get fucked and I'm going to lose all my money? So I ended up just like holding out. And so, yeah, maybe I should do something for the list, because that project is flying right now. Everyone is talking about DGods. Like, they just came out of nowhere for me. I'd never really heard of them except for Cody. He would just talk about DGods all the time.
Yeah, I've been following DGods for a bit, but I'd never really got too invested in it just because I'm not invested in Solana stuff. Like I just don't. It's hard to do both, I feel like, but you need to do both because both are interesting and both have a place, I think. Like that whole war between ecosystems is just dumb, as I assume you would agree. Like it's like talking to Cody and stuff, you know that it's not just a shit show over there. Obviously, they're at like 90th floor comparing what is it, like 400 over 400 sold for, I think, for a DGod.
Dude, they're like a top 5 project right now or something, like or top 10, or I don't know exactly what the number is, but they're like super ranked right now because not a lot of projects have. I mean, I don't know if the last person who checked, but like I'm pretty sure Doodle said this is like 5 or 6 ETH. All the projects that were holding a 10, 11 ETH floor have crashed tremendously. We have Cool Cats at like 2 ETH. We have literally anyone and everyone who used to be a 10 is down. I mean, I don't know what Azuki's at, but it's been pretty crazy, bro.
I'm looking at 434 Sol. So 14 ETH? Holy shit.
Whoa, they're going to flip Mutants. Is Mutants below that?
No. Wait, 9 ETH. 9 ETH.
Oh,
Why did I come up with 14? I was going to say that.
That would be crazy.
It says 430 is equal to 14, and then I click onto the website, and then it says 9 ETH. Okay, whatever.
Okay.
94. Yeah, that's like
wild.
Crazy.
That is wild. Awesome. Goddamn.
So yeah, I'm interested to see where Utes goes, like knowing that, like maybe a quarter or something of that eventually. I think like, basing it off Mutants, I guess like maybe a quarter.
Yeah, when World of Women drops their Galaxy collection, it was at 1.5 ETH, and me and Tom were sitting there. We were like, man, if this goes to even a quarter of what World of Women is at, this is a good buying opportunity. So we both jumped in at 1.5 ETH, ended up buying the absolute fucking peak. And it crashed like instantly. Like I think 3 days later, it was at like 1 ETH, and then crashed. I ended up getting hacked and losing it entirely. But we bought the top for that one because it's hard to know now, because like we thought Izu, I thought for sure would get to at least like 0.7 ETH, and it literally shit the bed immediately. Like upon the first person minting, they tried to flip it for like a $5 profit.
Yeah, that wasn't done the best way. I kind of had a feeling it was gonna be the same as. It was going to go that way. Sorry, like, have they even done the 2 airdrops yet, or either one of them?
I think they're about to. I think it's either today or tomorrow morning, because I did a full background on them. I listened to all the stream or all the podcast, no, not the podcast, Twitter Spaces that Volt did, just to get like some context, because I'm interviewing Izu soon. I think in the next week, I hope, and just to get their word out there. I know they've been doing a little bit of Twitter Spaces, but to like have like an engaged discussion where we're talking about certain things that are specifically wanting to get knocked out, I think it'd be a good podcast. And I just remember hearing like a lot of people were pissed off. Like the Psychedelic Anonymous holders were mad because they felt like they weren't being, rewarded enough for being holders. People were like, is Izu Psychedelic Anonymous? Are they separate? Like, are you going to be focusing on Izu or Psychedelic Anonymous? And there's all these questions, and it just got flooded immediately.
Yeah, I think a big thing that went wrong there was just the communication kind of pipeline. Like, it wasn't that they weren't discussing what Izu was, and I think because Vol came on your podcast, right? And did he go through it like the whole thing? Because I know their product page wasn't out at that time with Izu.
They basically when he dropped what Izu was. I made like a separate clip where I clipped out that one portion because I knew people were unsure of it. It was probably either the first or the second time he talked about it, and it was literally like a week out. And I was like, "So what is Izu?" Because I kind of know, but like I don't really know, And he was just okay. So he cleared it up, and I remember being like, "Okay, that was like everything everyone needed to know." And they were dropping soon. Then they had that project. They dropped the price of 0.2 ETH like a couple days, I think, before their mint, and people were upset about that. And then people were like, well, if it had been 0.1, it would have sold out. And Volturo was like, I don't think it would have either way, What do you think? If it was
Mm.
at like 0.1 or 0.08 ETH mint, do you think it would have sold out?
I think it just would have sold more. I don't think it would have sold out.
Mm,
It's too hard because it's like you don't have that many more people just jump in randomly because it's cheaper. Like you'll have some like more, but a majority is still going to be jumping in to flip it. So like the same
mhm.
thing would have happened. Um, maybe like 7K would have minted, maybe 8K. I think I don't know if it would have minted out though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was odd because it was kind of like this mix of getting it out quick enough that the hype didn't die down, but then also in turn doing that, it didn't give enough time to actually let the dust settle and see how people would react to the actual project itself. It felt like they kind of announced what Izu was, then the mint price, and then it minted. Like it felt
Mhm.
like literally 3 days, which I'm pretty sure it was. Like they did that spaces and updated the website with the product list and stuff. And then people were not only confused, but also just super wary because it's like the whole data. Like you need more time, I feel like, and like community feedback to sell something that is going to be selling data. Like I know people are going to get the option to do it and stuff like that. It's not like literally just going to be tracking you all the time or anything. But to get that message across and get people around that idea, I think it takes longer than a couple of days.
Yeah.
So it was that mix of, but then it's like, okay, then I announce what the project does. 2 weeks out, everyone understands it, and then all the hype just dies. So it's
Yeah.
you got to hit this sweet spot, which is really hard.
Yeah.
I don't know, like for example, like Utes don't even need that, but that's because D Gods are at 9 ETH, where Genesis PA is 0.7.
Well,
So
plus
it's
it was the
like,
sentiment around the fact like Frank, so not Frank, DGOS is going up right now. PA
yeah,
was going down actively
yeah,
as they were about to mint Izu, and I was like, oh shit, we're gonna see another Coolman situation. Coolman's Universe did the same thing. They fucked up
yeah.
their big announcement. They just did it the wrong way. They basically dropped it on a Twitter space, and it was just really like awkward. It was supposed to be like this big celebration thing, and like you'd want like a video plan for that with like a really good editing, a good music, and like all these things. You'd be like, boom, announcement, everyone freaks out and then reshares it and stuff. Instead, he did it on a Twitter space just by himself, and like the team was all cut off, like silent muted. And he's like, we got a movie deal thing going or whatever it was, or like a video or show. And it was just kind of like like emojis, like thumbs
Mm,
up and hearts. And I was just like, oh, Danny, what the fuck, bro? And then Cool Mans was going down as they were doing their babies collection. Babies ended up shitting the bed because it was too high of a floor and too high of a mint and a supply.
they did 10K off their 10K, right? The second
They
one.
did 20K, but they only sold like 7 or 10 or something like that. And then
Got
I
10,
think
yeah.
the mint was 0.1 or something like that. We got the claim one. So I ended up, I think I had sold the news before because I had two. I was going to hold one because I'm friends with him. And then I flipped the other one and I sold the absolute peak at like 0.8 right before he said it's a TV show. As soon as he said it, I literally was like, oh no. And I remember I went to open seed, the floor was 0.8 and I refreshed it 0.5, bro. Like it dropped almost
Bruh.
half right when he said what the announcement was. And I was like, bro, that's fucked. This market is literally 100% speculation.
Man, I remember when they minted because I had whitelist for that. I think I flipped it like right off the bat
Yeah.
because I didn't think it was gonna go anywhere. It was between that and something dinos. It was like basically the other version minting like same day. And it
Mhm.
was people were basically just deciding on what one, and I just picked the wrong one. I just did the wrong coin flip,
Fuck.
obviously. And I think Coolman's then ran up to like 1 ETH or whatever, like
Yeah.
shortly after. So
Have you been
yeah,
minting anything else recently?
minting anything else?
Yeah, like have you had any like big flips or like completely shit the bed?
Not really. I'm not trading at all or minting anything because I'm not going to mint anything I don't like believing. I don't really like flipping that much. Like I used to do it, but as of recent, like I kind of mint stuff and just and leave it. Like and like you just mentioned there, like with Coolman's, you're friends with him. It's hard when you get like close with founders and like you're doing like maybe a collab with them and
Mhm.
you talk to them, and I just like it's hard. It's like basically a fuck you, I feel like, when you mint their project and then just flip it onto their
Yeah.
community. And it's kind of like they've just paid you in that way with the whitelist, where it's like, I don't know. I just feel weird about it. So I end up minting a lot of stuff and not flipping it. And it kind of fucks me on the end. But I don't know. I don't feel bad in the short term, but I feel bad in the long term because I've lost money. So it's kind of
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Well, when I meet founders that I end up liking and like fucking with their stuff, it's typically after they've dropped. Like if it's all before, then like there's I mean, if you like them, it's cool, but they haven't like proved anything. You don't know if they're actually competent or capable, or if they're just bullshitting you to sell out a collection. So typically, like
Yeah.
when I buy an NFT from a founder that I end up liking, it's after they like way after, and I'll just wait for a good time to buy in at a cheap price, and I'll just buy one to hold. Or if I really believe in it, I'll buy two. Like I bought two of the Cool Mans because I knew that the second one would do well for a flip, and I'll just hold the other. But if there's like a project I think will do well, I'll just hold a bunch because I'm like, okay, eventually, like if you have a competent guy, you're gonna have like a what's his name, Luke Net's situation with Pudgy Penguins, where Pudgy just starts to fly out of nowhere, even though he took over the project 6 months ago.
Yeah, that was
So
surprising. I would, well, surprising a little bit. They obviously spent, was it 2.5 mil or something buying it out? Like
yeah, it's
it's kind
fucking
of,
ridiculous, dude. I was like,
it's
what? They were
crazy because they were fudded to the ground almost like what 8 months ago, like right before they
yeah.
bought it or whatever. It
I'm
was
like, how
like
did you
everyone
sell it for
hated them.
$3 million? Like, how did
Yeah.
they get $3 million for that? Or 2.5 million? Like, how'd they get that? Like, I feel like he got screwed.
Yeah, I was talking to Popeye about it, and we were like looking at the royalties and stuff. And we're like, how does a sale of this much make sense? I don't know. I feel like it's weird. It's a really weird thing, like selling a NFT company with a project. You know, it's kind of like, how do you value that? It's got to be
Yeah,
stuff behind the scenes, I guess, largely based on what capital they have left. I think that's probably the biggest driving force, and I assume they had a decent amount of the royalties they did have back in the early days. So I assume it's a bit about that, but
yeah,
like that's a lot of money, so it's interesting. But they've
yeah,
done
dude. That
well,
was
so
Yeah, they're crushing it now. They're crushing it now. He's actually a really interesting character. I've been consuming some of his podcasts to see what this guy's about. He's pretty fucking qualified too. He's literally my age, 24 years old. I don't know how old you are, but that's really fucking
22.
young to me. Yeah, 22. Like that's crazy. I'm like, he's sitting there like, oh yeah, he just casually dropped 750 Ethereum at my age. I'm like, wow, damn.
What's his
Like
name?
Luca Nets.
Okay, yeah, no, I follow him. It's interesting though because I think there's more people behind Pudgy than we realize, because I know another guy who owns it, who's one of the people that like bought into it. It's not just him, it's
Oh, I
definitely
see. I
quite a
see.
few people. I know this guy, Luke Belmar, and he owns part of it. I can see here Luca follows him, Kosha
Mm,
follows him, a few different people. It looks like people have followed him later, maybe because of Pudgy. Because no, I didn't have 10 related with him. I had like 2. That's actually wild. Yeah. And he is extremely successful in like e-commerce and
yeah.
marketing and stuff like that. And he has like a private group that he started running like a year ago, and it's closed. I think he's like reopening it. I
Yep.
saw
Yep.
he's doing like like kind of a e-commerce summit in, I want to say like, I don't know, somewhere in Europe, like right now for like a week. So the dude has a shit ton of money. He's been living in Puerto Rico for the past like couple years to
Oh,
pay like no
nice.
tax.
Nice.
So like they're the people that they're working with. So yeah, kind of fucking bullish on him, to be honest. Like
Yeah, probably. But this is
they
probably
have a
like
shit ton
likely
of
the peak. Like when I did my review on them, it took me like a couple days to get the video out, and by the time I
Mm.
posted the video, the floor had dropped by like an ETH or something, and I was like, oh shit, like, this market is crazy. But it's been pumping for a while, so people who are finding about Pudgy now, just be aware that you're buying when all the attention is on them, which is opposite of what you're supposed to do. But
Yeah.
were most of your videos when you started with YouTube, was it mainly due to like the flipping stuff, or are you making like upcoming project videos or reviews? I know Nate had said that he liked your honest opinion, and you kind of just said how it was.
Yeah, it was basically just upcoming projects, because that was the easiest thing for me to make, and like the easiest way to, it was kind of more just a way to format slash structure what I had to say about the market. So it wasn't as simple as, you know, this is the project and blah blah blah. It was more like, okay, here is a project. Let's talk about why it's interesting. What are the downfalls and like the upside of it, and kind of going into the team and looking more in depth at stuff, which is what like set me apart from other people doing it at the same time. Like my first video that did well was me basically picking the shit out of this like hyper realistic 3D humanoid one.
Wait, which
I
one
forget
was
the
it?
name of it. It was so it was one that Brett was advising for, and I was like
Oh,
in Magic Mushroom, and I still am. So I put it out, and he didn't know what was going on with it, because they were doing a
mhm.
lot of stuff kind of behind the scenes and putting it in the Discord, and they didn't like get his advice on it, even though he was advising on it.
Right.
So I ended up like making a 30-minute video going through it because they were like giving away like $1 million and all this sort of shit. And I would like tracked all the transactions down and all the shit. And I put it in the Magic Mushroom Discord at the time. And I was like, hey guys, I made this video. I don't have a contact with Brett. So if anyone could send it to him, that would be good. Cause I didn't, at the time I wasn't like in contact with him. I had no way to message him.
Mhm.
And a lot of people were like, yo, this is really good. And then that was really late at night. So I went to sleep, woke up and had like a message from Brett or a friend request with like a message. And then we got on a call and like spoke about it and stuff. And he was like totally cool with it. Like he wasn't mad because the way I'd done it was trying to be, subjective. I wasn't just shitting on him, more so shitting on the project, but then, talking about how he was advising it and stuff. So that is the kind of thing I was doing at the start. I did that a couple times. But it's annoying just getting hated on and fudded because obviously like that type of video is going to directly affect people's bags. And like, it is. So it sucked in that way. So I feel like I kind of steered off and started to do more and more still subjective, but not as harsh. Although a lot of the shitty ones became just more apparent. I don't think the content was as needed as it was at the time because it felt like these things were coming out and just scamming thousands of people. And that's why like every comment would be like, oh, I was going to buy into this. I have whitelist for this. Thank you for making this video. I'm not going to buy it anymore, which was like the whole reason I was doing it. So I feel like that started to slow down because they became more and more, once the knowledge was out there, it was kind of a learning. It was like a case study more so. So I was trying to teach people how to see this, not for this project, but for everyone coming after it. So when I had done that, it kind of got to the point. It was like, well, people know now. I'm just going to make videos that I like making and ones that I don't get fucking hated on and just a shit ton of dislikes and comments and stuff, which ended up working as well. Still trying to be subjective, but not like straight up hit pieces like I was doing.
Yeah, in the beginning of my reviews, like I guess we had a similar come up in that sense because I came in like August or September with the same idea. I was just like, for me, I mainly was just tired of the same content. I was like, I'm just seeing the same videos and no one's talking about like the news, like all this stuff is on Twitter, but no one's making videos like this. It's such an easy thing. Why don't people just make these videos? And then I was like, oh, I'll make those videos. And so that's like when I started doing like the NFT market updates. I started doing strategy videos and stuff. And like, I feel like I was kind of the very beginning of that. And as the market kind of cooled down, that's when people started to jump into that media kind of outlet. And I also had started doing the reviews. I'd done a couple, like right when Sham Dude's NFT project Head DAO had dropped and it like exploded out of nowhere. It was like popping and trending on Twitter. And so I just made a quick video on YouTube and it popped. And so I made a second video and I did a review on the project to see if it was shit. And in that video, I was like pretty honest. There's like some parts where I was like praising them and some parts where I was like, yeah, this is like straight up shit. And kind of like you, I started off like really fucking harsh in the beginning. I got like a huge audience that really fucked with it. And then like as I kind of like grew in the space and got more and more views, I was like, wait, this is like, you're right. Like this is directly affecting people's bags. And I'm not even quite sure of what I'm saying sometimes. This is just like my opinion. Sometimes I'll say something is shitty, but then it's like, oh, well, I didn't get the full vision. So now like I kind of feel like an asshole. And so I started to shift into a little bit more objective role and just kind of like review the project as an outside source. If there's something that's like clearly bullshit, I point at it, but I won't just like rip them to shreds like I used to. And I ended up being able to make a business out of the reviews. I don't know, like how were you making videos on NFT stuff while working a full-time job? Were you working in the Web3 space? Were you getting videos or like YouTube?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say because I have seen you talk about that, how you were doing videos for what was it? The monkeys, apes.
Ugaverse? Space
Yeah,
Apes?
yeah, you were doing videos for their Discord or something?
Yep. Yeah. I was making videos for them and I would post it for them early if it was time sensitive. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just give you your Genesis NFT holders access to these videos. And they were paying me to be like an alpha in their Discord.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's actually a really cool setup.
It was sweet.
I got lucky at the time, actually, like timing wise, because I started in November, and I was in university at the time. And in Australia, if you're earning like no money, if you don't have like a part-time job and you're in uni, you can get basically like government support, so like fortnightly payments. It's not much, but I live in a really shit place, so it's pretty cheap.
Nice.
So, and I live with 3 friends, so I was able to basically just survive off that. When I started making videos, started November. I think my uni finished end of November. So for like a month, I was doing both. And then I went on to like Christmas holidays, which goes for like 3 months. So I literally just did NFTs nonstop. I got paid like from the government. Like it was like $300 a fortnight or something, just shit all, but enough to just not have to get like a job. And I didn't have uni on either, so I was on break for like 3 months. So I was basically just doing videos, just doing NFTs, and then through that period of time, I was able to make enough to then defer uni for the next 6 months, which I've done now, and then again for this 6 months because we're coming to the end of the second semester now, like halfway through the second semester of the year. So no, yeah, I didn't get any gigs like you, which would have been cool because I feel like that is like a really good use of time for like your actual skill. That's a really interesting thing. I never got offered anything like that. At least I didn't see the offer.
I made that offer up, dude. I made it on the spot. They asked me to join as an alpha in Discord, and I was like, yeah. And as I was like saying nonsense, just like word vomit, I stumbled on the idea in my head as I was speaking, and I just opened my mouth and just words came out. And I remember at the end, I was like, wow. I just like, cause like I've been transparent about this. So I was making $2,400 a month just to do that basically, which was sick. I wasn't really doing anything extra. I was just giving them the video early. And I was, even when I posted to YouTube, it was still early because no one else was making time sensitive videos. They were only making which project is pumping. And I would find out information about projects and then drop that news early, a couple days early or a couple hours early. And some people were able to like jump in on it. And so I guess that's where the alpha was there. But like that's like a good way to do it. It's only like getting people to know that you're offering that service is the hard part. And I really don't know how to help because like I've just relied on word of mouth and just like the fact that I have so many reviews out there. That's how I get all my requests. They just find my videos and they want to do it. So they shoot me a DM or something. But to like offer services, like I guess you'd have to have a website and direct people there or something.
Yeah, well, it's weird. Like it's completely new landscape with like Web3 and stuff. So like you're literally coming up with shit on the spot. We all did. Like all of this came from nothing. It's replicating stuff in Web2, obviously a little bit, but a lot of it's brand new. So coming up with something like that is like, yeah, it's like they're not even going to think to ask you that because that isn't even a thing, which is odd. It's a weird position to be in for sure. Like, and I was doing the same thing as you a little bit. That's where I think my content was a little bit different. Is I do everything in one take. So I would basically go through the day, learn whatever was going on, and then make a video, post it while it's uploading and processing, make the thumbnail, done. Like I literally just trim the start to the intro and trim the end to the outro. I wouldn't edit anything. So I was able to pop out the videos very quickly. And for me, I was staying up till like 2 or 3 a.m. at my time at that point. So when I would upload it would be about 9 a.m. in New York. And so a little bit earlier in LA. So it worked out like really good timing wise as well. So it's that they wake up and they get all the fucking shit that's happened while they slept, pretty much.
Yeah,
so like,
that's really good.
And all the new projects that are coming out, so they're able to get in like early.
Do you have any crazy flip stories? Oh, sorry.
No, you're right.
Oh, I was gonna say, did you make any like crazy big flips in the beginning?
Not really. I made just like small ones here and there, to be honest. I got different like whitelists from like either Plug Pulse or something similar, one of the different groups I was in. I didn't get like, no, I didn't get Hate Beast whitelist. I think the biggest one I got was Invisible Friends.
Oh shit, how'd you do that?
Because I did like art for it and had my roommate make a song, and so I gave
no
him like
way
a third of it. Yeah, it was.
Let's go.
I was actually at I wasn't even home at the time. I was at my dad's house, and then I messaged him. I was like, yo, can you make a song, blah blah blah, talk about this, make it like a minute long. And then I did some like 3D animation art for it, had like a friend help out a little bit, and then just put it together, posted that. And then I think I just what happened? I think I put it in like a Discord, and then everyone tagged them. And then they tried to get in contact with me, but the video got blocked on Twitter because I think there was one like swear word in the rap. And then they couldn't message me. Like they couldn't even, it was weird. And like an hour goes past, I'm like, oh fuck, they're probably not even gonna see it anymore because they'd been retweeting people.
Yeah.
It wouldn't let them retweet my thing or something. And they're like, yeah, we've been trying to get in contact with you. I'm like, oh fuck. But yeah, ended up getting that and then just getting rid of it for like 8 or 9 ETH or something. So
damn, let's go.
Yeah, that was really good. It was good as well because it was like my friend I gave a portion to. So it was interesting because he's not in the NFT space. So I was like, here's a fucking few $1,000s for doing like 2 hours of work. Like, yeah, it was weird.
That is fucking nuts, dude. That is some king shit right there. He probably felt like, did he get into NFTs after that?
No.
Oh my
he
God.
Just fucking does music and shit. So he just back on that. Like Yeah, I think I got him to do a couple other things. I can't remember. But it was a good strategy because everyone was doing art at the time to get whitelist. Like that was the main thing you would do. And yeah, standing out with like a song and stuff was definitely the way. I remember I didn't get, what was it? The Crypto Bats one. What was that called? Is it called Crypto Bats?
I think it's crypto. Yeah, I think it's crypto bats.
Yeah, I didn't. It was so annoying. I didn't get whitelist for that, and they like retweeted me my art, and they just didn't even give me the fucking whitelist. I was so pissed off because it went to like two. It went to like
Oh,
2 ETH or some shit. Oh,
yeah,
there you
yeah,
go.
yeah,
There's Vanquish there in my chat. Made a good 20 bands. I don't know about 20 bands. Was it?
yeah, yeah. No, dude. When ETH,
Oh yeah, it
when
was.
was that? ETH was at like 2,500, maybe 3,000. I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah.
ETH was a decent
Yeah,
price,
true.
I think.
Oh, here he is. He's got hash browns as well.
Oh
This is my
shit!
roommate. Okay.
Let's fucking
can't
go.
see him.
There's sauce on there. I don't know how. You want one?
No, I'm all right. I'm all right.
He's not alright.
Oh,
It was 20, by the way.
No, well-
I got like 9, and you got.
What the fuck, dude? That is legendary.
there you go.
Wow.
Real proof. Proof in the pudding. Proof in the hash brown. All right.
Yo,
Thank
ask
you
him
for
what he
that.
spent that money on.
What'd you spend the money on?
What money?
What money? He said. What? Do you remember? He's not even sure.
Not even sure.
Oh yeah, we did spend on.
4.8 to you.
Oh yeah. All right.
But life.
Yeah, live pretty much.
Yeah, dude, I lost a lot of my, probably most of my money, I would say, from the bull runs. I made a lot and I lost a lot. I
Yeah.
was barely positive when I looked at. I did that ETH transaction tracker thing on one of the main wallets that I used, and I was like, "Yo, I'm up actually. I'm up like 3 or 4 ETH total, like in total." And I was like, "But I probably spent like a ETH and a half at least on gas." So I was like, "Okay, so I'm literally like break even." I was like, "Fuck me, dude! All that
Yeah.
work just to break even."
Gas was fucked, man. Yeah, I think I probably is like the same because the amount of money I made and then just bought back into stuff just to hold it.
Yeah.
Like my wallet is still right now is pretty much a bunch of hidden shit, obviously, that isn't worth like much. I didn't spend much on that, but my biggest bags were just in all the different alpha passes, which I just still hold.
Yeah.
Some of them are worth a bit. My probably the only one I'm profitable on is either ones that I was minted or maybe given for free. I think I got like Cool Times gave me like his one for free or something. But maybe Amir's is like Amir's definitely because I bought in at that when
At
he
what
reached
point?
out to me early on at like 0.18 or something like that. Really,
Nice.
really cheap. And they're probably around 3 or 4 ETH still. So that's
How
probably
is
like
that?
the
How is that
only one.
project? I mean, I think I'm gonna be doing a podcast with them soon, actually.
That's cool. I haven't spoken to him in a while. I don't know. I haven't been in the Discord much lately.
Bro, it's an
but
alpha pass. You're not gonna take advantage of the alpha passes?
I don't know. I do, but like I usually get my friend to go through them and check what's going on. But I haven't checked it in a while myself. They were
Sure.
crazy whitelists though, just because I guess because it's such a high floor, he's able to kind of leverage that and get really
yeah.
good spots.
Yeah, good
But
volume and a high floor. You can do whatever you want.
he had cool tools right at the start. Like I assume this stuff now that's still really good, but I remember early on like he had stuff that no one that I had been in no other Discords had them at the time, which was like FOMO ones that would like as stuff was minting out or snipes that would come up and based on like how much below the floor of the attribute would come up and ping it in the Discord and be like high FOMO, mid FOMO alert. Like, but this is like 8 months ago. I swear it was ages. He's done so well with that though. Like from not minting out to then building it to what it is now, and then whatever he's going to do with this next part of it, which I hope you actually get some info on because I don't think anyone knows anything at this point. Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting where he goes with it.
Yeah, dude.
I didn't get to meet him in New York.
Oh, you didn't? I didn't either.
No.
Trying to think. We met. So like people who don't know, there's a couple photos of us. Like actually, one of the photos I posted for Bento's birthday today has you in the back.
Oh yeah,
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here, I'll pull
Just
up my
randomly,
phone.
dude, we just like went down to the subway, and I think you guys were just sitting there because we were all going the same way.
It was funny if who dropped it? I think it was Bryce dropped his wallet when we were trying to go through that the thing when you get your ticket and you have to like go through that little wheel.
Yeah,
thing.
right. Yeah.
He dropped his thing, and so Bento ran back and got it. So that made us miss the bus or miss the train. And so because we missed the train, you guys walked up and like hung out with us for a little bit, and we ended up like being in the same train and like walking all the way back to the apartment. Let me find this photo. It's pretty funny.
What was that after? I'm trying to.
That was after. That was after Bubbles World, I think it's called. For us, it was at least.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it must have been.
Yeah, here's the photo. So we got Pasta in the back with the white shirt, and then Bento in the front with the blue. Yeah, that was a pretty funny day because that's actually in the vlog. In the vlog, that's when we started rating the parties we were at. Yeah, that was pretty funny actually. Was that the first time was that like the first and only time we hung out? I forget.
I don't know. I feel like I may have seen you like briefly at Goblin. Were you in line for the Goblin?
Yeah. We stayed in Goblin for a little bit, but then we got to the front. Like I think Nikki G or someone in that group got us to the front to the line, and then we were just kind of like there for a while. And me and Tom, we were with Sydney and Shauna. We were just like, bro, we don't want to fucking be here. So we left. Tried to go to another bar. Ended up being just like running. We were just like running around the city for like another hour. It was like 1 a.m, I think, and we were all like, "Yo, what are we fucking doing? Can we just leave?" So we just went home.
Yeah, I think we did the same thing. I went with Kosher and Andreas, I think.
Yeah.
Then Kosher is too young, so he couldn't get into that bar. So we went and got pizza, which is funny because Kosher's so New York. It's the funniest thing. Like he's just eating the pizza, like it's so greasy. He's like dabbing it with the fucking thing and just throwing them onto the street because just a pile of garbage next to us.
Dude, New York is disgusting.
Oh man, it just smells like shit. It's just, like garbage truck going past, like picking up the shit. We're just like eating on the side of the fucking thing on these shitty chairs.
Yeah, bro, what the fuck? I was sitting there. I was like, dude, I remember New York used to be like so cool, and I was just like, I moved to Seattle, which is basically a cleaner, colder version of New York, and it's not as like fast. It's slow. People drink coffee a lot. Like that's the vibe of Seattle. Everyone's high, and so it's like New York but high and cold. So I live in Seattle now. I love it because I like being cold and I don't mind being high. So I'm like, okay, this is like a good city to be in. And so I love it here. And so I get to New York thinking I'm so pumped to be in New York. Like I've been living in the city for a while, so excited to take advantage. Get to New York within an hour. I'm like, bro, what the hell? This place is hot, stinky, and like fast. And I was like, what is this? And I was ready to come back. I don't know about you, but like I was ready to come back after a week in New York.
Yeah, it was really interesting for me. I was there for ages. I was there for maybe 10 days or something because I came just because we're coming all the way from Australia and I came with a few of my friends. We decided to be there a bit longer because it was, it just cost so much to get over there and the flights were like just crazy. So we were there for, I think 10 days and then went to LA for about 4 or 5 days after because that's on the way back to Australia. And but we were staying upper west side. So it was way different to like Times Square, New York, and where like everyone was kind of meeting each other and going to the parties and shit. It was very different up there, which I liked. So much cleaner, so much nicer, didn't smell, a lot more green. But down in Times Square and shit is a fucking cesspool. It's not. I liked it a lot more than LA though. LA was even worse.
LA sucks. I'm gonna go to LA because Andres is out there. I think Nikki is somewhere out there, or Gavin, or one of those guys is out there. And then I want to go. Like I feel like LA is just one of those places I want to go every now and then just to see if it's better. Like I remember the first time I went there, we were there for like 30 minutes, we're walking around the city, and I was like, "Yo, Ken, when are we gonna get there?" He was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Well, we're in a fucking shithole. Like, where's LA?" And he's like, "Dude, you're walking in LA." And I was like, "Wait, what? This is LA?" He's like, "Yeah, Gucci's right there." And I was like, "Yo, I thought that's a trash can." And he's like, "No, that's Gucci." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Like, where's like the fucking why are people here?" And he was like, "I don't know." And so it was just like shit. And I don't know. I mean, I think Andres is gonna have a better time. He'll be able to show us a time when we get there because I think he lives in the residential area, but I don't fucking know.
Yeah, when we were there, I was asking him like where to go and shit. But we didn't really have time to like meet up and like show us around because we just end up going to like Disneyland and Universal and Pier and
Was
shit
that good?
like that.
I've never been to that one in the California?
What one?
The
Disney?
Disneyland. Yeah, I've been to Disney World a bunch of
Um,
times, but
yeah, it was good. It was really interesting though. Like we got there and it fucked up our tickets on the night before, and they didn't go through. So, and it was a problem with the website, and a bunch of other people had it. So we went there, got there at like 9, 10 a.m. or something. Ended up standing out in the fucking sun in a line, like no covering, for like literally 2 or 3 hours to get it sorted with a bunch of other
yikes.
people, and ended up they just gave us like the fast pass thing, which is like not really a fast pass. You have to like schedule it on the app and shit. So after we got in, it was decent, but it was like 30. Oh, it was like 32 Celsius. I don't know what that is Fahrenheit. It was fucking hot though.
Yeah.
So got like really burnt and shit. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
we were
how it
there
is
till
with
like
Disney.
12.
It's like the fast passes blow. They don't like work. Like if you go to what's it called? Not Carnival. I forget what they're called. Six Flags, like one of those other places that are way smaller than Disney. The fast
Yeah.
passes are dope. You just walk up and you go to the other line, and the line is way faster and way shorter, and so you just like get in. With Disney, yeah, you have to like schedule it. You have to sometimes, like I remember the last time I went to Disney World in Florida, you had to go to a kiosk and like reserve it on this kiosk that was 30 years old, that there's a line of 50 people trying to like reserve stuff. So you end up like wasting probably 2/3 as much time with that. So you do save a few hours of waiting, but it's like, it's not even worth it at that point to spend so much money on it.
Jesus, I just have kids next door to me just yelling their heads off. Yeah, we were like scheduling it on the apps and shit, but then like you could only do one every once in a while.
Yeah.
Ended up just like jumping the lines for a couple.
Nice.
It was just, yeah, it was a shit show, but yeah, no, it was fun. It was very different to like a theme park here. We have a lot
Yeah.
of theme parks just up the coast, from where I live, which yeah, it's just completely different. Like America overall is wild. Like, but LA in particular is literally like it's straight up like social media, like that. Like it is social media. You go there and it's like you think it's gonna be one thing, and it's just like everything is fake. It's weird. It's a weird place to be. I don't know.
I've never lived
Very
there.
different.
My only experience was those few days I was there, and we just kind of like, we went to Zoo Culture, we went to Gold's Gym, Venice, and went to a couple places just like that, because I just wanted to see what it was actually like in real life versus like all the cool compilations and montages you see on YouTube. And I liked them. They're like cool or whatever. It wasn't like anything out of a movie. And then I remember when we first got to Santa Monica Boulevard, I think it's called, this like big touristy location. Like you see these videos where people are sitting outside and they do these live shows outside with like a crowd of people. And I realized when I was there, I was like, these guys sit out here all day and just like reset and then redo it and then redo it and then redo it. And I was like, oh my God, this is weird. I feel like I'm in like a Lowe's Casino from Percy Jackson. Like I feel like I'm in just like the same day over and over and over and over again. And I walk past, there's like 6 people tripping on acid next to me. And I was like, wow, bro, this is crazy. Like imagine living here forever.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fun to visit it, I guess, but I wouldn't probably live there. Like I don't know. Maybe unless you have like a shit ton of money and you can go somewhere further out from like it just being like it just smells, and like there's just so many homeless people. It's
Right in the
weird
middle.
compared to
Yeah,
here.
if you're right in the middle of the city, I imagine it's probably kind of grimy. Like I live in the city of Seattle, and Seattle's a big city, but it's for the most part, like, it's pretty chill. But if you live outside the city, like just like 5-10 minutes, it's like a completely different experience. You go there, it's like fucking flowers and music and butterflies. You're like, wow, okay, this is not the Seattle that I think of when people Google Seattle and they see homeless people like starving on the side of the street. That's not what you see when you drive 5 minutes away, you know? So it's probably the same,
Yeah,
like, similar.
That's what I felt like it was like in New York, just like staying up where we did versus where we were actually, at in the day. Literally 2 different places. It's very weird.
Do you have anywhere in the
Like
States that you love?
Sorry?
Do you have any places in the US that you're a huge fan of? Like you got a favorite place?
Well, I've only been there and got once and gone to New York and LA, so I haven't gone anywhere else. But apparently, like, because we're hanging out with some people, like some mods of mine, in New York that came to the event and stuff, and they were saying that like this is literally like no other place in America. I don't know. They were saying that like where they live. I think one was in near Vegas, and then the other one was like kind of middle of nowhere. Just somewhere in America, and they're like, yeah, this is like this is not America. This is completely different. to where
Yeah,
they
it's
are.
crazy how strong of a vibe they have though. Like someone who grew up in New York has a very intense personality. Same with LA. Like when you meet someone who's been in LA forever, like when I talk to Frankie from Subducks, that motherfucker is born and bred in LA. Like he doesn't give a fuck. He's got his own style. He doesn't give a shit about your like he's just doing his own thing, and it's such a strong LA energy. And it is interesting when you live a place that's like super known for something. It's usually backed up by like truth. Like people from New York don't give a fuck, dude. Like they'll walk right, they'll step on top of you. Like they don't care. They're like doing their own thing. They're grinding. How about us? How about where you're living though? Do you have any places that you love going? Are you in an area that you like, or
yeah,
stay?
I'm in Sydney. I didn't grow up here and shit. I've only been here for a few years. But it's all right. It's just really, really fucking expensive. It's like one of the most expensive places to live, I think, like ever. I don't know why the market's just fucked. The housing market in Australia, full stop, is just really bad for a bunch of reasons. But then Sydney especially is just terrible. So what you get for what you're paying for is dog shit. Like I said, like we pay like shit all, but it's still like a shithole place. But so we're moving. Maybe in like a month, I'm gonna go back up to the coast for a little bit. Where like I grew up, and it's the housing market up there is a bit better, but still in Australia, it's still expensive everywhere. So yeah, it's really hard as well. Like the whole renting situation. I don't know if like you've had this same issue where you are, maybe when you were my age, maybe just like even a bit younger. If you were living with friends, it's incredibly hard to get a place, to just get accepted because of the competition. And the way it is in Australia, at least, like you can be 30 years old and still can't afford a house. So like me and my three friends who are, 22 years old, or when we were younger, like 20, with like no savings and no assets to our name, and just like part-time jobs or like in uni or whatever the case is. And we have to compete with families that are like 30, 35 years old, have savings, have different stuff, like an investment property even. And we have to compete with them to get accepted. And it like never happens. Like I have emails that are literally just like, this houses we've applied for. There's one in particular we applied for. It wasn't even that nice, not even the best area or anything. It was not expensive. And it's been, I think, a month and a half, maybe 2 months. They still haven't rented it out. We were the only person that went to the inspection, and we offered them as much as they were asking, like, because they had like a range, and we went all the way up to the top range after like negotiation. I was like, okay, we can do this. All right, we will do this if you really need it. And then they just kept denying us, still haven't called us back about anything. And they're just like, yeah, no, fuck you. We want a family. So it's just a shit place to be if you're like this age. I feel like, and you don't have maybe support like from your family to like rent it out. Maybe I don't know. It's weird. It's just it's a shit show.
Well, I mean, you're like at 22. I feel like a lot of people have a similar situation. Like when I was 22, I'm 20. I just turned 24 like a month ago. So, 22 years old. That would have been this before I left. So I was living in my parents' house, serving at a restaurant with like a few $1,000 to my name. So like that's like a classic 22-year-old. So like you're ahead of the curb. And so it's good to. I mean, you're chilling. Like I feel like the weird thing with social media is so many people are blowing up so quick that people feel like unless that happens, like unless that exception happens to me, then I'm a fucking idiot kind of thing. And like it's crushing a lot of people like our age, just like their mental health a little bit, because they're like, how come this fucking dude who's just like me did this one thing and like now he's famous, he's rich, he's got all these things, and now I don't have it. Like I must suck. And so people are comparing themselves to like these absolute extreme 0.1% 20-year-old versions of themselves that are like crushing online. What are your thoughts on that whole situation?
Just comparing, do you think?
Yeah, just like the world. No, just like the world we're in, because we're in the metaverse or the NFT world. So like we're looking at the metaverse as a potential future, which is this on steroids. Like social media, digital identity.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what do you think? I don't know. I haven't really thought about that too much.
Well, like it's like so right now we're having trouble with like people with identity, right? That's why we have so many people with like gender ideas that they're like not sure. They want their 10-year-old kid to like make decisions about their gender identity when they don't even know barely know their fucking name when they're 10 years old. You know what I mean? And so like there's all these crazy things with identity that people are struggling with. They want to make sure that they can have their pronoun on their Instagram bio kind of thing, because they must have it be known by people that they are this, and they must treat them like this, and all these things. People are struggling with all this social identity. And they've got all this time on their hands, especially like we had like quarantine. People were on their phone 24/7. All the tech stocks blew up. But like there will be a point where technology gets so good that we're just going to inevitably be tied to what we're doing online. And people right now care more about how their Instagram looks than anything else in their life. Like I'm tied to my social identity. So like how my Twitter appears to the outside world is very important because I'm a content creator, and that needs to be like top priority. I could give a shit about what John down the street thinks of me when I walk past him on the street, because he doesn't like matter to my brand online. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that specifically was a little weird for me because I've never like posted on social media. I don't know. I don't have like an Instagram that I post on because I've never cared. I don't understand the point of doing it. Like I take photos and stuff, like I'll take photos of my food and stuff, and it's like literally for me on my camera or to like show my
Just a
mom
random
at some
photo.
point, like in real life. Yeah, like I've never posted on social media, so it was kind of weird exactly having to think about like the content creator side and like kind of your online personality.
Yeah.
Because I've never been interested in doing that for my own kind of personal reasons. So it's weird. Yeah, it was kind of odd going through that and then having to deal with that. Like I still don't post really often if it's like not related exactly to like the content I'm doing or like streaming and stuff like that. But yeah, fuck me. The identity stuff is such a big can of worms. I don't really know where I stand on it because I don't really care all that much about all of that stuff that people just kind of rant and rave on about constantly on Twitter and stuff. I don't know. People take stuff way too seriously these days, and like I don't know. It like it's hard. I don't want to like. It's weird. People want to get like offended at everything anyone says, and no one really has conversation anymore. I feel like people have to be one way or the other, and there's no middle ground half the time. It's just exhausting. So it's kind of like I just try not to involve myself in it too much. It's crazy, like the censorship and stuff we're seeing as well now, like stuff like Andrew getting banned, bunch of other people. Like maybe for good reason, maybe not, but it's just
still weird.
Yeah, like how do you feel about the kind of censorship stuff? Like we don't have, I don't know if we have really free speech in Australia. Like technically, like you guys are meant to, but it's like the private companies and stuff.
Yeah,
so like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, so I mean, it's weird. Like, for example, this is like weirdly time sensitive, this topic, because Mark Zuckerberg just went on Joe Rogan's podcast, 3-hour episode, and one of the biggest segments of that went viral because they asked Rogan just casually throws this shit in the middle of the conversation, and like is so nonchalant about it. Zuckerberg just answers him candidly, and everyone freaked out because they're like, "Oh my god, Zuckerberg just like admitted some huge news and like didn't even realize it," and like Rogan just didn't even realize it too because he was high. So he just like uncovered this huge, secret that we all had been like, I mean, we all kind of like knew, but it was just basically like Mark Zuckerberg's ideas on, or Mark Zuckerberg's response to the fact that they kind of controlled the election in a sense, and like how they ran and how they did that, because people were like, look, you guys were definitely had a hand in the election one way or the other. Like you guys had some effect on the algorithm. Certain people saw it more than others. People with more apt to shout about it on Facebook increased their retention on Facebook. So they showed these kind of people more content about the election. People who didn't care as much didn't see as much about it. And it created this weird lopsided effect on who actually voted and what the sentiment around, like, for example, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. If TikTok hadn't pushed as the algorithm, that trial wouldn't have gotten nearly as much traction. But since they decided to post it, and that's just the way TikTok algorithm is set up, that's how it happened. But with Facebook, they were like, yes, we have these third parties that basically go through it and decide whether or not this is like should be censored. And everyone's like, wait, so you do do this, and we don't even know who the fuck these third parties are. Like, so you're just giving this out to someone else to decide if this should be sent out to more people or less people. And he just like admits that on stream, and everyone was just like, holy shit, they definitely had an effect, and he just admitted it.
That's crazy. I hadn't seen that yet. I actually just put on that episode last night, like going to bed.
It's a good episode.
But I fell asleep like literally a minute in. I was tired. Yeah, I'm gonna listen to it for sure though. Like when he talks to people like that, or like people like Elon or Elon Musk, it's
You gotta watch.
crazy. It's so interesting because they don't really have that many like interviews and stuff. I feel like that you can really, and the way the way Joe kind of interviews people like that is super interesting because he seems to, well, you know how he is, like kind of cutting through it and just getting to specific points is way more interesting than like a normal fucking news interview that like those guys would normally be on.
Right.
But that's crazy. They're like admitting to that. Like,
well, it wasn't even like a bit admitting thing. It was just people were like, holy shit, it's true. I feel like that's similar to what happens if and when they're like, okay, the jig is up. Aliens are real. We're all just going to be like, we fucking knew it. And then everyone's going to make these videos, and then we're going to be like, okay, well, I guess aliens are real. And then we move on. But I feel like that's how things are happening now. It's just like we just bully someone on Twitter until someone just leaks the information. Like we have so many things that get leaked, and then it ends up just being this big online social media game of like who can get the most attention out of it and get the most followers and blow up and stuff. And then and then it just like moves on to another story. Like, I don't know if you know, Izu's not popping anymore, like in the NFT space. No one gives a shit anymore. It's been 2 days. No one cares. Pudgy Penguins.
I saw you live saying that, like, I'm gonna make this video now because it's gonna die.
Dead, bro. It got like 150 views. Like, people don't give a shit. Like, I have a 48-hour buffer max almost for any video. If I have a video that I'm like, oh, that's an interesting idea, I'm like, okay, can I make this the next day and have it out by tomorrow? It's like, no. All right, well, don't even bother, because it's like people don't care. So yeah, it's wild. Like, I'm about to make a video on the Winter Bears rug because I just found out about it. And it happened a few, like, I guess like 5 months ago, but I didn't hear about it till now. And I didn't really hear anyone talk about it. So I'm going to bring it up just to see how it does, because it's an interesting topic. But like, a lot of people don't even know, dude. Like, it's actually kind of weird on Twitter. Like, you can hear everything and also nothing. Like, there are certain things that are huge that I haven't heard about, and then the things that are really stupid that I hear about all the time.
I feel the exact same way. It's really weird what actually gets to you. Like, I didn't know about that either. I think certain stuff like that might be interesting no matter how long it's been. I think that might like do well, especially if it's been like that long. It's kind of like, it's not that you're late. Like, it's better being like really late at that point than just like a week late, I feel like, because it's like people won't even remember it happened. So it kind of is interesting in that sense.
It's like a case study almost at that point. You're just like, look at this thing that happened. Let's learn from this. The thing with Winter Bears is funny, is because like I reviewed them 6 months ago, and I was saying, and I was like, yeah, man, this looks pretty bad. And I was like, but if they do any of these things, it could be good. But we don't know these founders. They're anonymous, and they haven't really proven themselves. They've just kind of like been here and pumped up really big in the beginning and just haven't done anything. So if they do something, it could be cool. Otherwise, it looks kind of bad. Like, from a chart standpoint, if you look at their activity, it's like huge. It looks like this. It's just like straight down from the mint. And I was just like, man, this is one of those OG projects that people compare it to Pudgy Penguins, compared to Sappy Seals, because the Winter Bears are cute, you know?
Yeah, I just looked them up. I forgot what they looked like, but
yeah, they were popping for a while. Dude, Shamdu was a big fan of them. A lot of influencers love them.
Yeah, I think that's where I saw them. That's
what are some of your favorite projects from like the OG era?
I don't even know what would they be.
Some of the
I like
Sappy collections.
I like Sappy, and like the way they've gone with the branding for that. It's just super smart, because it's like it can't be taken away as easily. I feel like it can't be dumped on as easily. Like, if you build up a brand based on like shit posting and just like community and stuff, I feel like it's like, what product is there then to, you know, to actually produce, or like service to give? What part can they fail on where their community is going to turn on them? Like, not really any. So it's way more solid. I feel like it's way less risky to get into, where it's like something like Bored Ape. If their other side metaverse shit sucks, or no one wants to play it or whatever, like, that's going to directly affect them really hard. Whereas if they just stayed as like an exclusive club, which they knew they could have been good at, because it's way less difficult. Obviously, bigger upside with the other side and like building a metaverse and all that shit. You know, Sappy can only go so far, I feel like, doing what they're doing, but they're obviously working on other stuff. But I feel like stuff like that is way less risky, kind of like Kaiju and stuff, like they've constantly just been putting out like little things, like not trying to do anything crazy, like out of this world, like Izu, not trying to innovate on a crazy level, which I feel just makes it a safer bet. If you're just, because the community is just gonna stay there. Like, there's no reason for them to leave, really.
Yeah.
If nothing goes wrong. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, there's less reward in that, I feel like, but it's definitely more solid. So, yeah, Sappy, Kaiju,
Magic mushrooms.
yeah, I haven't been in the Discord in forever. I'm probably gonna change my profile picture. Oh, what's
I was gonna say you like. I'm surprised your profile picture's been that mushroom for so long. It was just kind of like random to me. Like when Nate had his hate beast for so long, I was like, Nate, do you even like care that much? Like, why is that your profile picture? I don't know. I always thought I would just be myself, like an animated version of my own face, which is what it is right now, or I would change it to like, I don't fucking know, like something. It would have to be specific or like something that's not brandable by anyone other than me, because I have like my own brand.
Yeah, I was talking to Andreas about this. That's what he was ranting on about in our like podcasting that we did. I don't think it's out yet, but he was saying like, yeah, you need to make it your own brand because you're doing like content creation and stuff, which I completely agree with. Which is why I need to change it. Like, I like yours because it's obviously like that good mix where it's like NFT art, like cartoon, but also yourself and your own brand. Obviously the glasses like help with that because it's super recognizable even in the cartoon. Yeah, I got to change it to something. I'm deciding whether or not to do actually something similar to what yours is in terms of like a cartoon version, or just myself, because there's no real reason to still have it. Although like people know me by it, but it's also like, is that actually helping my brand long term? No.
Right. It'll take a bit, like, because people won't like realize it for a couple days, but then after a few months, it's like not even gonna matter anymore.
Yeah,
So,
I
used to have another one, but
I think like Champ changed his he took off his mutant for like a couple days and his engagement went like down so much.
Oh shit.
I think a mix between people not realizing it was him, I think, and then people just not automatically liking it because a mutant said something. Like this was at a couple months ago. But I think he changed it back, and then I think he's recently changed it to a different one. Yeah, yes.
He did? Yeah, he bought another one?
I think so. Yeah, it's got a yellow background. I think he's had a green one, I want to say.
I can't remember. It's just, I mean, the mutant ape is definitely iconic and noticeable. So people see the mutant and they're like, ah, nice.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but I mean, I don't have that with the mushroom anyway. So it's kind of like lose. There's just no point.
I was gonna say, like, with Nate, I was the same thing. I was like, when Hape was at 8, 9, 10 ETH, it was cool. But if after this long and you're just kind of sitting on it, I was like, it's kind of just random. Like, people don't really understand. More people get mad than anything just because they're like, why the fuck is this still your profile picture?
I fucking hate Hape. I
Do you really?
not. Yeah, I hate their art. Like I think because I do 3D art, so I feel like I can be objective on it and say that the clothing is dog shit, and they did not take any care into the clothing aspect of it. Like,
what do you think about that trait that went through the ear thing that went through the hat? Do you remember what I'm talking about?
That, but okay, but that's on purpose. That's
wasn't
not
on
even
purpose.
My point.
That was my question. Like, was that on
100%.
purpose?
Like it's got ears. The ears have to go somewhere. That's not what I'm even mad about. Like, that's what everyone was getting up on. It's like, okay, yeah, that is a little odd, and it does look a little weird because there is, I'm looking at one now, so it kind of just like clips through. It does look like it's clipping through. It's just like something you'd have to deal with that design, unless you were going to make the hat kind of bend around, which would probably look even worse than the ears just clipping through. But it's not even that. Just like the clothing. I'm looking at a t-shirt. These are terms that most people probably don't know, but there's no like normal mapping, and the textures are dog shit, and it just doesn't look smooth at all. The hoodie especially, like the actual hood part, like does not look like this at all. It's like literally as thin as a fucking t-shirt, and it's scrunched up like, oh, what am I doing? This way. It's like scrunched up like this on the fucking Hape. Like, it looks so dumb. I don't know. I
wasn't, so I don't know what it was for me. I was gonna buy one because I thought they took like a business angle with it, and I was like, okay, if any project's gonna do well, it's gonna be this because they got so much money. It seems that the people in their team like sound competent, but I don't know. But then I went to the floor, and I was kind of like on your boat. I was just like, yo, these floor Hapes are not attractive at all. Like I don't want any of these. Like the top 1% of them look really good, and the ones they use in their promos look sick. And then like you look at the floor and you're like, what is this, dude? It's like a orange stripes and like a big random word in the front. And then yeah, I thought some of the floor and common traits were a bit weird, but that's also like a subjective thing.
Yeah, I mean, all of it's subjective. I feel like for the art stuff, like some people might think. I mean, it just coming from someone that does it, like I know how hard it is. Not how hard. I know how easy it is to like fix these things. It's not even like they may have been going for this style, so it's like it's not even something that they may have purposely done it for this reason. I just think it looks whack, and I feel like it would have looked a lot better if they did the clothing like properly. And I also don't think, and I also think the designs are incredibly lazy for like a collection that's meant to be based around like clothing and like that branding Hape. I feel like pretty much every design is just a rip-off of like a different Hypebeast style, which is the whole point of Hypebeast, I guess. But like, I don't know, it just seems lazy to me.
I was interested in what would happen if Bored Ape Yacht Club came out with a 3D collection, because I'm like, that would literally be Hypebeast, just a little bit different, and they're gonna just they're just gonna like swarm over them. I don't even understand. I remember looking at Hypebeast going, this is like, I don't know, like the idea of being like a fashion project makes sense, but then it's just, I don't know. If they're going to focus on that, they would have had to focus on just like the traits as the most important thing. And the Hypebeast is just like a mannequin, but they didn't. Like they focus a lot on like the Hape and more people think about the face than they do the traits. I feel like, the shape of it. So I'm not sure how they're going to do.
Another thing that pissed me off so much with Hape is that they did the same thing 3D Solana projects were doing back in the day, where they would render out the 3D image and then they would paste 3D, 2D traits on top of it and make it look like it was in the 3D render, which is not something that a lot of people like notice, but I think it looks incredibly tacky. Like if you look at the necklaces, like for instance, you'll see like the drop shadow that they've done in like Photoshop for it to paste on top instead of it being an actual asset in the 3D. So the lighting is just completely off. I don't know. Well, there's not much to lie about. Like it's.
Well, did they say that? Like that was one of the things Winter Bears got called on too. They were like, they said that we were 3D metaverse compatible, but they weren't. They were just a photo of something that looked 3D.
Oh, so they said they were like rigged and shit.
Yeah, they said they were though. Like in like they're like an announcements, like these are like 100% good to go. And then we had found out the people they're working with were like, no, they never were. They just like they didn't pay for that, and they knew that they didn't pay for it, and they just told you it was. So a lot of fight came out about that, but I don't know if Hape had claimed that or not.
Well, yeah, no, I have no idea if they claim that. Like that's a little different because they could definitely be like metaverse compatible and have, well, like doing chains and stuff like metaverse compatible. I guess it could just sit there. Like it doesn't need to be run through a physics sim or anything. But at least for just the art in general, like I'm looking at a chain right now and it looks it's just dumb. Like it's just a drop shadow. Because if it didn't have the drop shadow, it would just look like it was placed on top. And the drop shadow is basically just to trick you into thinking it was there in the render, which it isn't. It's just like laziness. Like I know, like I could have done this like 10 times better. Like it doesn't. I don't know. Like if you can't even do that, like why the fuck should I spend 0.8 ETH on your fucking floor?
What NFTs are you a fan of art wise? So I know you're a 3D guy, but do you like pixel art, for example? Do you have any projects like that you fuck with?
Yeah, no, I like pixel art. I think there's definitely a place for it. I think Kaiju's is probably the best. Yeah, I don't know if I always forget. I can't think of the ones I actually like, but
like I'm trying to think of some like OG, like Doge Pound or Subducks, Cool Cats, Cryptodes, Punks.
I think Cool Cats were decent. Probably Doodles probably have the most versatile art out of any collection. Although I wasn't super hyped on like their second collection stuff. And like,
what do you think about that? That's a similar path to what CryptoKitties did. They had like 2 million items, but they're all worthless now for the most part. Like a lot of people are nervous about that because they're like, shit, the same guys are running Doodles and they're doing the exact same thing. Is this the wrong time? I think CryptoKitties just did it too early. That's why it didn't work out. I think Doodles has a chance. Like even if, because like people were worried about the Genesis collection losing the floor, and I was like, yeah, but this second collection is not going to be the Doodles Genesis collection. It's going to be like an extension of their brand. They're going to have so much influence that their IP will just grow, which is the main goal. Like that's the goal, is to get your IP at the top. Right now, that's Bored Apes. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it needs to be done in a smart way, because having like more having a second collection of that size and stuff, it is good in a way for barrier to entry, because like if I wanted to join Doodles and I have to buy one off the floor of the main Genesis collection, like what am I paying? Like, you know, just like $10,000 or some shit. So you're cutting out like so much potential community, I guess, if you're doing something like that. So like a bigger second collection is needed. It just needs to be done in the right way. I don't know what the floor's like now, but I know they made a shit ton off the fucking boxes.
Yeah, they did.
And
They've crashed
one
quite
thing
a bit,
that
I
worried
think.
me. Oh yeah, I figured. That's yeah. I think a lot of people were pretty upset about that, just because they spent like a shit ton on the
Yeah, I
because
agree, I bet.
it was like a silent auction thing. I don't know what it was weird, but what worried me a little bit was at New York. I saw they did like the Apple press conference type thing, and they announced that they were going to be like dabbling in literally like every single facet of like technology. I don't know. There was like gaming, fucking movies, TV show, clothing. Like it was everything, which I assume they can do to some extent. But like I'd like to see maybe one thing come first at a time. And like they got Pharrell, which is a good start, I think. Like, but I
Yeah,
don't know.
one example I go to with it, because it reminds me of like the brand, is Max Tuning is this YouTuber, a fitness YouTuber. And he had this clothes company called Ever Forward that did well. It was like a good brand or whatever, tied to him a little bit, but also it's its own brand on its own. It looks good. Like people would think it's cool whether or not they liked Max or not. And then he drops this new company called Sour Strips, a candy company. And people were like, what the fuck? Is it 0 calories? Like, no, it's normal candy. A little bit less calories, but it's just really good. It's really sour. People are going to fuck with it. And I was like, this will do okay. It's going to be another fitness influencer type of product. Like it'll sell a few hundred cases or whatever a month. And it ended up taking the entire world by storm. Every influencer and their grandma bought it. And everyone loves it because it's an incredible candy. I've tried it myself. It's actually the best candy I've ever had in my life. So it's really good. And it blew the fuck up without, like, people don't even know that Max Tuning is the founder, and it's in fucking Target. It's in Walmart. It's in all these big companies. And I think with Doodles, they're trying to see like if any of these will take them to the moon or not. I think it's what their goal is with that kind of art. It speaks to a whole lot of different people. Like old people could fuck with it, middle-aged people, kids could fuck with it. And I think they're trying to just become that cute project. I don't think it'll be more than one. Like I think it's gonna either be, I mean, Doodles could potentially fit in that same category of cute with like Pudgy Penguins, Sappy Seals, and all those. But I think there's gonna be like either one or two that survive. I don't really see more than that sticking around long term.
Yeah, I guess throwing a lot of shit at the kind of canvas, see what sticks, I guess is a decent idea. They have a shit ton of money, I guess, so
They have a lot,
can kind of do whatever they want.
That's true. That's true. The guy's a dapper over there, so
yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know if they have one of the best shots. I feel like they seem to be kind of further ahead than most people, because I don't know, Bored Ape, I feel like are really throwing all their bags at other side, and I feel like it's such a high risk, high reward kind of venture. And not that it would kill the brand if it like failed, but I just don't see how it will be nearly as successful as it would need to be to keep up with like their standard, because I don't think the metaverse stuff is going to be used for a long time. I think the only metaverse that we're going to really have that like a large majority of people play is just going to be like Fortnite. I think that's going to be it. Like they're expanding their stuff like crazy. They raised like 2 billion or whatever. They're not even doing anything related to blockchain. It doesn't need to be blockchain to be the metaverse.
Yeah.
I think they're legitimately just like millions times ahead anyone else in terms of like the collaborations and like owning Unreal Engine shit like Epic Games. I don't see how Bored Apes can compete with that in any sense of the word. So if they can't, like, it's just not going to have the success that the rest of everything else that they've done has had.
Well, when everyone else comes, and it's not just this little niche of Web3 people running around and like an echo chamber, that's where they'll have the biggest issue. Like right now, they're the only player, and they've got the biggest bag, and so they're going to take over. And they haven't even done anything yet, but they're like number one. But I think when the mainstream comes in, if big companies come in, it's like, it's game over. Like they're not pandering to the Bored Ape Yacht Club holders, which is going to be a large portion of people who play. Like, I'm not going to play Bored Ape's game. I don't fucking want to. Even if I had a Kennel Club or a Mutant Ape, it's like, maybe I would play every now and then. But like, it's such a small category of people to kind of like pander to, and that's why I liked Luca Nett's last Twitter Space, or I forget if it was a podcast or a Twitter Space, but he talks about, he's like, yeah, I'm just here to build the name. He's like, we're not trying to like take over this Web3 world. He's like, we want people from all shapes and sizes from wherever they are to see Pudgy Penguins and just fuck with the brand itself on its own. And then like they'll find their way into the Web3 world and then NFTs and stuff. But our goal is to just get our face and name out there. With Bored Ape Yacht Club, they're really only pandering to a very specific, super Web3 niche audience. And I don't know. I could see multiple, like 2 to 3 different projects being at the exact same level as Bored Apes one day.
Yeah, like I would not be surprised to see them have a really, really, really hard time getting like mainstream audiences and stuff involved. Because I think as soon as they did, like imagine them just getting, like, I can see the video now, like the downfall of Bored Ape, seeing them at this ridiculous high price. Then they try launch this and people play it for like a month and then the novelty wears out. And then all of this like writer rip stuff jumps back up into the air, even if it's not true. It doesn't matter. Like if it's out there, it's out there. People are going to talk about it. Mainstream media pops that up and the floor just gets fucking shit on. Like I can see that happening right now.
What could it go down to, you think? What do you think it would drop down? What's the absolute bottom?
Now?
They're got to be at like 70, right? 60 or 70, 80?
Look. They're at 80.
So what if they drop to 10, under 10? Would you try and buy one? Or would you say, fuck, it's over?
Yeah, that's tough.
I'm buying mutants. If that happens, I'm buying as many mutants and Count Clubs as I can, because that's what I would fuck with. Like I'd be okay rocking a mutant ape. I probably couldn't afford a Bored Ape, and even if I did, like I don't know if I don't really like Bored Apes. Like I don't really like their brand and community that much. So like I don't really care to be in the Bored Apes. Like for me, the biggest flex would be able to say like I'm in the ecosystem, but I don't have to be the Bored Ape. Like I would need to be a mutant, probably a mutant ape. Just like if you have a dog, it's not that cool. So like you have to have like a mutant ape to like qualify yourself. Like okay, like I'm in the club. But I don't know. There's something about the Bored Apes that are particularly enticing for me as a brand that I would fuck with. It's just that project that everyone thinks is cool. But like, what if it loses its hype? It's no longer special in any way.
I think, the only reason it has the like command it does over the space is just because of the price and just them being early to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's really all it is. I don't, they haven't done anything necessarily special. Like their metaverse beta type thing, even though like it's not built by them, it's like a different company, like looks decent, but like obviously people are going to react well to a beta test of something that actually like works properly. But to have people actually play it is something completely different, which is why like I'm bullish on Fortnite, for example, taking that spot above anyone else because they have everything going for them. Like
and Epic Games, the guy in charge of that's a beast.
Yeah, like it's different. It's a different playing field there. Like there's different money involved in Epic Games and having like say Bored Ape have this company that I don't know if they've acquired them or they're working with or whatever to do the metaverse stuff. But it's like okay, then you look at like Epic Games owning Unreal Engine. Like it's so advanced from what else is out there, like what they can build. Their collaborations are literally pretty much every single IP in the fucking world. Like I'm waiting for fucking Kanye West, or was like Kim Kardashian's gonna be in Fortnite. Like that is really it. Or we got Jesus Christ in Fortnite. Like there's not really anywhere else to go. Like they have complete market dominance in that regard. They have all these licensed songs in there now. It's like because I was playing it the other day because I'm just intrigued with the way they've built it. I wanted to see like what it's like because you can like jump into a car, turn on the radio and flick stations and be listening to songs that came out a week ago.
Yeah.
Like even GTA wasn't able to do that.
Do you have are you a big gamer? Insane. Like is that something you care about?
Yeah, I used to play games a lot. Not as much recently because I don't have really the time. But growing up, a lot. Like console and then PC when I could afford one. And then I played Fortnite actually a bit like when it first started, when it first came out, because were you into games as well or no?
No, I used to play when I was like a kid, but I had all these terrible anger issues when I would play video games that were including me like trying to win like any kind of Mario game where your goal is to get somewhere and like fight all these obstacles to get there. I would just always fucking lose at the end, and I would just get so mad. I'd throw the controller on the ground. So my dad took them away from a young age, so I never got good. And like if you're in high
Yeah.
school and you suck, you don't want to show up to the party and be the guy who sucks, right? So I just never played.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I played with my friends kind of all growing up in high school. And yeah, when like PUBG came out, which was pretty much like the leading battle royale game at the time, one of my friends couldn't actually run it. Actually the rapper one that came in. The artist that came in, he couldn't run it, so he downloaded Fortnite, and we were all just like, what the fuck is this shit? Like this is the most, like, this looks so dumb. So we were playing it really early on, and then yeah, I kind of went off it. I wasn't playing it when the whole thing blew up, and then just jumping on it like as of recent, just to feel what it is. Like they did this Dragon Ball Z collab, and you can go into a separate game mode where you can literally jump in with your friends. Like you're squatted up, you've just finished your game. You can now jump into this section where you're on an island. It's a place in Dragon Ball Z, and you're able to watch episodes on the big screen there with your friends, with your in-game characters as Darth Vader, Vegeta, and fucking, I don't know, Ratatouille's probably in there. Like sit down, like you do your emotes, you can sit down, you can talk to them, you're on voice call, you've got other people walking around, big screen, it's playing episodes of Dragon Ball Z. Like the metaverse exists in Fortnite, and I think next season, like they're planning to start releasing their creative mode 2, which is going to enable people to like really build whatever they want. Like it's going to be like Minecraft level, but with like way higher graphics. And imagine like the role playing and stuff that can get into when you have all of these IPs already in the game. It's like ridiculously insane. Like these kids that are playing Roblox and stuff, like that is the metaverse right now. Not Bored Ape, not a bunch of rich guys running around with their fuking monkeys. Like that is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Like that
I'm actually gonna start. I'm actually gonna start trying to learn games because of that. Because I know it's coming at some point, and I gotta at least understand how it works. That way, like I'm not like I don't think I'll ever be like a gamer, but I need to like be able to navigate like games because that's gonna be this world. I'm gonna be totally unequipped if I don't learn it. And so like I know I'm doing a little stream with These Nuts NFT project, and they're gonna send me some VR glasses. So I'm really interested to see what that's like to just run around, because that'll be like my. I mean, my dad's works in Silicon Valley, so he works with a lot of VR and stuff. And I've played a couple times really, really early on VR stuff, and it wasn't that good. And I wasn't like that impressed. Like it was okay, but I feel like they've come a long way in the last few years. And I just want to see what that's like. There's some streamers on YouTube who do the VR games. They're super rich. They have all like the best stuff, but that shit looks legit. I'm like, wow, you would totally forget that you're just in a room with a set on your head, and like you're very much in the zone when you're playing these games. So
yeah, 100%.
It's just wild.
Kids these days don't give a shit about wearing fucking cool clothes. They care about their character in Fortnite.
Yeah,
like
they
if
do.
you want like example of NFTs and that sort of stuff, like it's just what kids are playing these days.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like it's a whole different language even in these games. The way they talk and stuff. It's completely just been developed within like the gaming experience in Discord and stuff. So I mean, I just see it going that way no matter what. Like, have you seen these like gaming streamers and stuff that are like fake people? Like they'll play as like an avatar, like almost like an NFT. Like
I've seen some
Coinex stuff,
Instagram
like
accounts where they like have a fake influencer who's not real. It's like straight up AI or something. And I'm like, whoa. Because if the person who is running the account is human, they can just give personality to the character. And you're like, that person doesn't exist. Like that's not a real person. It's just like someone typing and then an avatar that popped up. That's weird to me because it's like I've seen movies, like there was a what's that old show? It's kind of like Black Mirror, but it's like the old version. The Twilight Zone, I think it's called. There's an episode where the guy falls in love with a robot girl, and he doesn't know she's a robot. And then at the end, he like realizes that like none of her emotions are real because she's a fucking robot. And he's like, wait, but like you sound like you love me. So like, isn't that basically the same thing? You know, like can we just pretend like this is real? And it was just like that weird question of like, if you found out like your wife was a robot, but like nothing else changed and you felt like you feel the love and stuff, is it real just because you think it is?
Matrix.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck.
That I saw something really interesting. There's this gaming YouTuber called Kwebbelkop, who was really, really big a few years ago, and he's slowed down a bit now. I was watching like a video essay about him, and yeah, he was killing it on YouTube, getting like a shit ton of views, like 50 mil a month type thing, making dumb money. Nice. And he signed this dude who just did gaming videos with him, and they had like a falling out or some shit. But Kwebbelkop had, I think, some ownership in like his branding and his name. So when the guy pieced out, he had to change his name, kind of like how some like music artists don't actually own their stage name, like Miley Cyrus, for example, something like that. Quebblecop then created an AI character, and I think somehow took the dude's voice, this IP that he owned, and reimagined it as a fake character, and then started making gameplay videos with it. And he got that channel to be bigger than his own. As his died
Wow.
off, he transferred this IP from this guy that had a falling out into this fake person. He then grew to like millions of subs. It's like still going on now. I think they like, he got angry at him. The whole community got pissed off because it was like, bro, you're using this dude's like face, and it's like, even though you legally have the rights, like, it's pretty
Yeah.
fucked up. So I think he stopped. But like he built it all from just like nothing. Like literally, like people are watching. These kids are engaging with stuff that isn't real. Everything's just gonna be like that. Like, think about how people are gonna do that with like girls online, having like fake online girlfriends. Guys already do it, talking to people on OnlyFans that think they're talking to the girl. They're just talking to the fucking manager.
Yeah.
Just seeing pictures that she like gives to the manager to send the guy. Like, you're not talking to the girl, you're talking to the guy. You could just be talking to a fucking AI at some point. It's like, and it's like maybe it's a fake girl with fake photos with an AI person talking to you, and you're not going to know the difference, and you're not going to care.
Yeah.
It's like, it's inevitable because we're going that way. It's so obvious.
The degeneracy is in every single industry, no matter what. There will always be a degen corner of like the most bizarro shit ever happening. That's actually gives me an idea for YouTube. Like if I ever got in a car wreck, for example, and I'm like paralyzed from like the head down, like the neck down, for example, like let me knock on some wood, like the worst case scenario ever happened. I could literally pay some person, I don't know how many thousands of dollars, but like, yo, I need you to create an avatar version of this character's head, just like my PFP on Twitter, and make him 3D render and like rig to like be able to move and stuff like an animated character, and make an AI version of me, and I'll just voice over everything, and you can just like make that the character, and I would just carry on with my YouTube because my brain still works, so I would still be able to tweet and stuff. And like if you can do all that, you're basically not paralyzed at that point. Like, yes, you are in the real world, but you can operate in this new world, kind of like in Spy Kids 3. I don't know if you saw that movie. Spy Kids 3 is based in a metaverse, bro. And like the fucking grandpa is paralyzed, but in the game, he's this big guy who can move, and he's like a badass. And I was like, yo, you're literally completely capable in a metaverse. That's gonna be crazy.
That's gonna be they're gonna be the biggest brands because they're gonna be ran by multiple different people. They don't need to sleep. They don't need to. They're not gonna get in controversies. Like, I forget the video that I saw this in, but they were talking about why Disney is so successful and their mascot being Mickey Mouse is so powerful, because Mickey Mouse can't get caught out after being at a club doing cocaine and getting some controversy. Like, that can't happen. So making your brand and your mascot based off someone that isn't actually real, that isn't going to die, like, it's incredibly powerful. Like Walt Disney living on through Mickey being like one of the biggest everyone knows it, and he's long gone. It's incredibly powerful. So to say like we're going to do that with then influencers and the gaming, like YouTubers or streamers and stuff, like, you should see the way they've I don't know the word, but let's say companyized streaming in China. Like, they have these like warehouses with like rooms of like this size, like little office spaces that are made to look like bedrooms, made to look like sets, and they just have people streaming in all of them, and they train them up from fucking ground zero, like kind of like K-pop stars and stuff, to do gaming streaming now, and do like just be on Twitch. I don't know if it's on Twitch in China and stuff, but it's completely controlled by these companies. These people are bringing in thousands, tens of thousands of dollars a month because streaming is extremely lucrative, but they're seeing like 10% of it. It's insane. Like, and then to take that and then to do it with a digital person, because these people are getting worked around the clock, streaming 10 hours a day or whatever. You get a fucking digital person that can just stream 24/7. Like, it's so powerful. Then, and they're not gonna get sick of it. They're not gonna, like, once they have the voices down and then the AI capability to actually have conversation and stuff, like, it's over. Like, those for kids and stuff, like, they're not gonna care. They're just gonna watch their favorite mascot, their favorite fucking like version of like Ninja, but like the Fortnite version, play the game, and then like I don't know. It's going to be so much easier to brand that sort of stuff as well. I feel like it's, I don't know. It's kind of scary the way we're going down with that, but people just getting more and more disconnected from like the human side of anything is kind of crazy.
Yeah. I don't know how they'll accept it. Like, will the kids care that this AI is like literally not real, or is it like is the AI so sophisticated that it's kind of real? So like, who cares? Like, are they gonna look at people like Logan Paul who are just doing crazy shit out there and be like, "Yo, that's badass," or are they gonna look at AI version of Logan Paul who's just as badass but isn't actually real? Are they gonna give a shit? I don't know if they will, dude. Like, I don't like. That's where I'm like, when people say you can't buy personality, it's like, well, we're coming to a world where the AI algorithm is so good that maybe you can beat out authenticity because people don't know.
And kids definitely won't know. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Like the YouTube Kids app is literally like, have you seen the YouTube Kids app? Like the specific version?
I've seen videos. I've seen videos that kids are watching because I was working with a bunch of kids like 2 summers ago, and it was just like Mr. Beast style content everywhere. But I didn't see like what else was going on.
If you go on the actual YouTube Kids like website, because it's completely different. It's crazy, like the actual style of content and stuff. It's weird. I think for sure it's gonna be digital people that like kids are gonna be watching, because they're just gonna figure out the best. Like I don't think they're gonna know the difference, and then they're just gonna figure out the best character that's gonna appeal to these kids. Like whether it's a human or it's a hybrid fucking cartoon character animal thing, whatever it is, they're gonna figure it out somehow, and then that's just gonna like become fucking huge. And then it can be something in real life. It can be like a mascot in real life that's going to then go meet these kids and do photo shoots all simultaneously in 20 places at once, because it's not a single person. Like Ninja can't do that much and stream. He can be live streaming while doing a fucking like AMA at fucking Comic-Con. Like if they make it more about the character and stuff, it's so much easier to kind of make money from it. I feel like it's so much easier to spread it and make it grow.
Yeah, it's weird watching this new world of social media, how everything's based on numbers, everything's based on metrics, and so that's what people are chasing. Like TikToker people, for example, with 175,000 followers, don't actually have any influence because people only register any thought that they have related to this person for more than 30 seconds, like max. Like there's a bunch of TikTokers that I love watching, but I don't care if they do a podcast. I'm not gonna watch it. I'm not interested in that kind of engagement with them. But that's why, like, for me, like, audience curation is so important for me, because I'm like, yes, like, there's optimized ways you can do content to get more views and clicks and stuff, but they're not going to exactly equal to anything helpful in 5 years. So, like, for me, like, it almost makes sense to make sure I'm dedicating a certain few hours of my week to make content that's geared toward building a core audience and making a specific basis of content. Like videos, for example, on my channel have like literally 75 views, but it's because I'm making videos for a character crowd that only involves like 1,500 people on Earth. And I'm like, okay, so if 50 people are watching this, like that's actually pretty good for the amount of people I'm making this video for. And that can set you up as far as like an IP and a brand perspective, because the goal is to get to like Dr. Disrespect level. You know, that streamer guy? Like to him, like anything he does, people support it and they fuck with because it's just him. It's like, that's the goal, is to get your brand to that level where people just fuck with you. Like people want to go on Joe Rogan's podcast just to say they've been on Joe Rogan's podcast. Like they don't care how the conversation goes. They're like, look, I was on Rogan. Yeah. And like, that's a massive flex. Like that's the goal for me, is to have that level of brand where people just want to be tied to you because you're badass.
Yeah. What do you think about TikTok? Like you use it, you post on that, right?
Yeah, I post a ton. I mainly just use it. Like, I don't even know. I guess I just post it because it's easy and that's what people are watching now. So I just clip up bits of my own podcast and get people to, you know, eventually, like with TikTok, my goal is for them to see my face 10 or 12 times over the course of a couple months, because I'm posting so many videos that I'll get stuck on their algorithm a little bit, and then they'll see a podcast or they'll see a clip that's interesting, and then they'll watch one podcast of mine, and then I'll have them and I'll be okay. Like now they're a supporter, they understand who I am and stuff. So that's my goal with my TikTok. And then also just credibility, like with the numbers thing, there's also a segment to that. Like it does matter to have, like if I had 10,000 followers versus 7 on Twitter, that changes the way I can approach any business deal, because now I got that K, you know, on the follower count. So it's just one of those things, I think. What do you think about it?
Andreas said Cade loves TikTok.
I will say it's hard to get off TikTok. Like I used to, so I just commenced phase 2, which is not as much volume, just more dialed in stuff. But I used to be posting 12 videos like every hour on TikTok. I would post, but it took away from my focus. Yeah, because I would always I was posting every single hour. So every hour I'm breaking my concentration to post a video, repost to
Yeah.
Instagram, repost to Facebook. And then while I'm waiting, I'm just like scrolling on TikTok. So I killed everything for my productivity. I was just like, yo, I'm turning into a robot. So
Yeah, I'm not a fan of TikTok. I've used it, like I used to use it as like a someone that actually like watched stuff, and then recently I got off it, and then like for fun, like 2 weeks ago I wanted to see how quickly I could grow an account if I just played the trend, which I did with a game by Epic Games, a new one that just came out called Pastor does TikTok dance in the shower. He's hiding his love for TikTok for the top. So I like decided to just base off this trend that was literally popping for this new game called Rumbleverse that Epic Games just uploaded to their platform. So a bunch of kids were playing it, which is obviously a demographic on TikTok. So I just went on TikTok, I looked up Rumbleverse and just saw what was performing well. And then I just made the TikTok account. I went in the game, made a private game with my friend, faked a bunch of clips, and then downloaded a bunch off Reddit. And then just took my knowledge of what I know from TikTok in terms of like the algorithm, and posted 4 times a day and then down to 3 times a day. I literally, last time I posted was yesterday. I don't think I can be bothered to do it anymore. And I grew the account to, I think, 20K followers in like literally 2 weeks.
yeah, I'm not surprised.
It's like, it's funny how you can, but like with that though, what can you really do with it? Not
That's the
much.
thing. That's the thing, especially with the smaller crowd. It's like, what's the point of having 30,000 followers if they're 12? They can't help you. Like,
Yep.
you're gonna sell clothes. They don't afford it. They can't afford it. You know, like you want them to go click on this link to sign up for this new product that you're getting a brand sponsorship for. They're 13. Like, they can't. So,
Exactly.
yeah, it does matter for me. Like, they're just not gonna be that helpful to me. I know that they'll grow up. Like a lot of Logan Paul and KSI's fans were fans when they were 10 and now they're 20 or whatever, or like whatever the number is. Like they're a bit older now, but at the same time, like it's just not, it's not time for them to watch my content yet. Like my content's for like 18 or like probably 14 to 60 is probably like my main demographic, which is a pretty large spread. But like if you're 12, then my content's not going to make a difference for you, I feel like.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's also going to be way harder to keep them involved for that long, to the point where
True.
they would be interested. Like you're saying, like those like Logan and KSI and stuff like that, like being on YouTube, it was so much easier to keep that audience's attention, I feel like.
Yeah.
And it's also, just like years of grinding as well to keep that audience there, that they eventually do turn around and start to support you in what you're doing. But I was talking to Andreas about this because I just think TikTok is super. Oh my god, my roommate's screaming.
I can barely hear it though. Like it's very faint.
Good. Yeah, I don't like TikTok because I just think it's really like detrimental to like people's mental. If you're like using it, I think the only reason to use it is to, actually take advantage of it and post content and stuff. If you're not posting content on TikTok, I don't think you should like use the app.
I agree.
But to a certain extent, if you're posting on it, like you kind of do need to engage a bit in it to understand what is working at that specific time, which is annoying because it's like, if I want to then like make use of it as best as possible, I need to then engage in it, which is annoying because like I don't want to fucking use the app. I feel it just kills people's brains when it comes to like dopamine and stuff, and it hurts. The kids are fucked. Like for real. I think like these kids growing up are gonna be so fucked. It's not even like.
You think so? Or are they gonna be like extra fucking capable in the world that we're headed to?
Or maybe in the world we're headed to, they might be useful. But I think so yeah, who knows? I mean, in the world that we are in right now, they may not be able to be super adapt, but like they may actually turn out to be good or to be normal in the future metaverse or whatever. But yeah, at least in the world we are right now, I feel like they're just not going to be able to engage in stuff. I feel like, well, I mean, I don't know though, like in terms of like stuff like dopamine and shit, I think that's gonna be detrimental in any situation. Like they're not gonna be able to do anything. I think TikTok and porn is just killing kids.
Yeah, it's miserable. Especially, I mean, I'm 24, and like weed, porn, distractions, fucking TikTok. You're right. Like those are not helpful for the most part. And at least I have basically 22 years without it. I'm like, okay, well, I'm okay. But if I grew up with this shit, I would have no discipline. Like my discipline is probably my number one factor that is fucked because of things that break you down. Like things are so easy, like weed, like TikTok. It's so easy to just take it. Like when I have weed, it's so hard to say no because I'm like, like it's just like 2 seconds and I can be high. I'm like, okay, like it's fine. And I'll do my work anyway. And I get to my work and I'm like 30% capable than I was when I'm sober.
Yeah.
Like anyone who says they do better while they're high, it's a fucking lie. Like I've been a stoner so many times. I can tell you confidently, there has never been a point in my entire life where I'm more capable sober, or like that I'm more capable when I'm high than I'm sober. If I go into a situation and I'm sober as fuck, I'm gonna make a better decision than I am when I'm high. Even if I made a good decision high, I would have made a better decision. Andres says chill.
Andres he's on TikTok, he's watching porn, he's smoking weed.
Exactly. I saw a good question up here too. He says, do you guys dabble in one-of-one art? What do you think? Do you?
Not really, but well, does yours count as one of one?
They are one-of-ones. Yeah, all my NFTs are one-of-ones, except for the torches. The torches are like my mutant ape kind of thing. They're just there because people want to get in. They can't afford the access keys. The access keys will have any utility that comes in the future, but they're all one-of-ones. There's 20 in the first collection, 26 in the second. So those are one-of-one NFTs. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, I haven't really. I don't think I own. Do I? No, I don't think I own like any one-of-one stuff. It's always been anything I'm like interested in was too expensive, to be honest. Like,
so you just been buying collectibles, PFPs, stuff like that.
Yeah, all the stuff that I own that like was worth anything is just like Alpha Group stuff.
How about like behind you? I know you've got that fucking cause.
Oh yeah. Oh,
that thing is cool as shit. That thing is cool as shit. I can't see it, but I've seen a couple of your videos where it's in the corner, so I know it's there.
Oh, okay.
That thing is fucking awesome.
This one's not real. It's not. The real one's a fucking shit ton. But yeah, no, I really like the art. So
the cause brand is sick.
Yeah, we'll see what What was that? What was the project that was trying to do the figurines?
Oh, Antonym.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
I'm excited. I love that project, bro. I know their flows crashed tremendously. I even made a bunch of profit swing trading when they first launched. Like it would go from 0.6 to like 1 ETH every day, and I made like 5 flips with the Antonym. It was just so funny because I was like, it's so it just keeps going. It swings and then it swings right back, and so I swing traded a lot, and then I ended up buying one at the top. After I had made all my profit, I was like, let me just get one so I can get the figurine with it. And there's a point where I almost bought 4 because you get the physical and you can get like a bigger one. But then I realized like to have one that's that big, it's like not actually helpful for anyone. It's just a pain to have one that big. So I just got the small one. I think it should be like this tall, like pretty big size. Like this is my hand. Like it's going to be like a decent size sculpture. So I'm really excited. Like I just got a sculpture. I don't want to move my camera, but I just got a sculpture shipped in from a one-of-one artist, and they're from Nigeria, and it looks like this. I just posted.
Oh, I saw that. So,
yeah. This thing is fucking amazing. It's like high-end shit, like something I would put, like if I have a mansion one day, it's something I would put somewhere to be like looked at because it's like legitimate art, and like that's one of my NFT art pieces. So to answer your question, I forget who asked that question, but yes, I'm a big fan of artists on TikTok. If you were there early, you would have gotten probably big on artists because all the big NFT people are artists. So I just became friends with all of them, and so I wanted to buy their art to support, and it was really cheap. It's on Solana. So I got super into these one-of-one artists, and I just pick ones that are cool. I don't like, I think the most I've ever paid was like 0.3 ETH. Like I try and buy ones that are cheap, that are underrated. Like I like their personality on TikTok, and I just want to support them. But I don't buy into like Fidenzas. I can't afford that shit.
Yeah,
those high.
That's cool. So you got an NFT with that physical, right?
Yeah, I did, but that's because I was their first pickup. Like I was their first collector ever. And so they sent me that because they were just really happy. I don't know if that's like a real thing because I don't know how that works. I've got the certification of authenticity in real life and through the NFT, but I don't like what would happen if I sold that NFT? Like, would I have to go out of my way to ship it? I don't know how any of that stuff works. I think we're just too early. But most of the time, like, I mean, like my faces are faces, a guy from the UK up there, you can see. You can see part of it. That's like one of the art pieces from him. And then like some of the artists have sent me their art in real life pieces, and I really fuck with them. But that's just because we're friends on TikTok, and so they were just like, I want to send you one, especially I'm a YouTuber, so I can put it in my studio, so everybody wins there. But that's why I did it. I mean, there's a lot of NFTs that I own and connections that I have that I'm kind of just, I like them as people. And if they just keep working hard, then they'll be dope as fuck. And when the market explodes, there's a chance they could become the next Mark Zuckerberg. You don't know who's going to be the Mark Zuckerberg, who's going to be the Elon Musk, who's going to be the top dog. It could be someone that is just like a nobody right now that you just fuck with and you're like friends with them. You're like, you might as well keep that connection there if they're working really hard and they're cool. Who knows what could happen?
Yeah, the transferring of ownership is interesting because I think because Beeple does that with I think his physical stuff. Like I think when he went on Joe Rogan, he gave him one of 50 Elon Musk ones,
Wow.
and it was like this tall. Like I think it was this little video frame thing, and down the bottom it had like a QR code. And I don't know if that was like to claim the NFT or whatever, but yeah, it'd be interesting. It's like if you ship the physical, then having the physical like actually holding it yourself then gives you the ability to basically like steal the digital version to yourself. True. Take it out of Joe Rogan's wallet and give it to me. I don't know if that's how they would do it. Yeah, I haven't dived into that because I don't collect any physical stuff like that.
Yeah,
but it's interesting because yeah, it's like how do you
it'd be weird. Like with my access keys, I kind of like if I ever do a big PFP collection, which I honestly like think I've been thinking the last couple of months. I actually think I maybe would when the market's not in a casino style of situation. Like I want to drop it when I've got capital and I've got like strong possibilities to make something cool happen. But also I just want to have it later down the line after my brand has been built, and I don't want it to be like a fight. I want it to be people who fuck with me. So right now I have like my small group of supporters and collectors who have my one-on-one NFTs. And then because that community is so strong, I can manually do everything. Like if I need to do something, I can just jump into Discord real quick and just like give a little shout and tag everybody. And it's not like a big deal. And so I like that flexibility of having a small collection and group. So for them, like for example, like I have my art, they already got all free clothes. So they already got a lot of the stuff that'll be coming in this first drop. But for my actual public drop of clothes, which is coming, I'm hoping in the next like 2 weeks or so. I want to be able to use some of that funds to send. Like I'm gonna, do I have it up? Is it here? I don't know where it is. I have like a physical where it's kind of like if you were traded cards, it's gonna be like a really hard plastic screen protector case thing with all my self-portrait photography pieces in there. And like whoever owns that one, I'll just DM them privately and be like, yo, if you want this physical piece, just send your shipping label or like send your address and stuff and I'll ship it to you. And so I want to be able to do that for them. And that's kind of like a thank you for holding, because most of my holders have been holding for like 7 or 8 months. And so a lot of them have been here for a long time. And for them, like, it's okay because like they're going to get this piece and it's cool. And even if they sell it, they like still feel like that personal connection to me, I assume. And that's kind of the way I do it. And like if they sell and they're still holding it, like the original piece is like whatever, I guess.
Yeah. That is the kind of one downfall of that, having them kind of disconnected like that. That's really cool though that you're able to kind of do that because it is such a small collection and it's like an actual community. It's real use cases for NFTs, whereas when you have 10K, it just makes things unreasonable to do shit on that level. Like you're having to hire a company to do all the manufacturing and distribution of the clothing, for example, because you just wouldn't be able to do it physically yourself, or DM every single person and say, do you want this? I'll ship it to you. That you have to create a fucking website and get all their addresses and then get like it's just a different level of work that is not
well, they think they need 10,000. I'm like, bro, do you know, like, for example, here's something that's crazy. It was crazy to me. Someone said, imagine how many views you get, right? So like my average, like if I'm getting anywhere from like 200 views to like 1,000, like I'm happy, like whatever. So if you think about that in terms of like an audience in real life, like say for you, like I don't know what your average is, but say like 5,000 people show up to a fucking auditorium for you to talk. That's a lot of fucking people. So you think about an NFT project, like they think they need 10,000 NFTs, but it's like if you had 500 people or 300 people who are all dedicated in that chat, they all fuck with you, they all want to be there. That community is gonna be way stronger than a community of 10,000 of randos, and 3/4 people don't even know what the project brand is about. You know?
Yeah. No. Yeah. So, 100%. People just. It's just all meta. It's just all the meta of the fucking market and people wanting to make as much money as possible.
Yeah, like, that's true.
like for example, yeah, like looking at something like Izu, because PA was 10K, then they then had to do, or because PA was 10K, and then they had the 5K psycho billing things that the PA guys could claim the Izu with. They had to do 5K just for that.
Yeah.
So I don't really understand why they did another 10K of Izu. Would have made more sense to me if they did 5K whitelist Izu and then
So I think
5K
to
from the
fund
PA.
it. I think they did to fund it.
Yeah, exactly. But it just seems, it's just ridiculous. It's so many people, like, and yeah, it's not, obviously we've seen it's not viable in like a market like this for that price point as well.
Right.
It's got to think of more interesting ways to expand the community without gatekeeping it to like a small amount of people. Like I was saying, like Doodles, it's hard to expand that community and brand when it's about having ownership of something, and to own something you need $10,000. Like you've literally cut out so many people. It's not even funny.
Right.
You've cut out 99.9%.
That's why
of
you
people.
gotta build IP like for real. Like that's why I like Luca Ness so much, because when he's talked about in podcasts, he understands how to build brands. That's what he does. So he's like, the fact that these NFT companies are saying they're brands and they don't even have like clothes or a toy or anything that people can buy. He's like, how are you supposed to build that brand? Like, unless someone bought the NFT, they're not interested. So like, how are you going to build that lore and story? You got to have products that you can see. You got to have like toys. You got to have things that people can actually get their hands on that are in the community that they can buy, right? Like anyone can go to Disney World. Anyone can watch a Disney show. Like anyone can do that. They can spend 2 seconds and Google it and get access to it. But if you're like an NFT project where you have to like jump into Discord and go through verification and get a MetaMask and all these things to like be part of the community, it's so much extra work. And so he was just like, you got to do different things to survive in this market. And there's really not a whole lot of projects I'm bullish on. There's a couple that I was like, oh, they could pull something off. And now it's been a few more months. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know about this anymore. Like a lot of people are getting worried about Cool Cats even.
Yeah, for sure. Like, well, I think they had like really bad tokenomics, right, on their game.
I think people just weren't impressed by it.
Yeah, was it like I don't know. I didn't really see it. I assume it was just like a stare to earn type thing, but
yeah, I'm not quite sure. I had to do a video on it, honestly. Like so for example, if NFTs flunk and it becomes really hard to make money off it, like for you, are you gonna lean on the college degree to like, are you gonna get like a normal job if that happened, if the NFT market enters like full recession and there's no money left in the ecosystem for a couple of years kind of thing? Like what's your move?
No, probably not. I'm already pivoting what I'm doing like with my Discord to include bigger niches, whether it be just Web3 crypto as a whole, but then to kind of a full financial niche. So if the NFT stuff is not realistic for whatever amount of time, I want to have other opportunities, because I think like there's just never not going to be an opportunity to make money online doing digital stuff. It's just about being in the know of what's working and then having the resources and the tools to do it, and the knowledge. So my goal is to kind of promote that to my community and audience and build that kind of ecosystem now, so we have kind of a fallback for everyone. And then also that will help me basically do the same thing as them. So kind of building a network and a community and a bigger audience is just going to help with anything. I feel like it doesn't matter if I then want to do an NFT collection in 2 years time, I'm going to have a massive audience and community to back me, even though we've been off doing stuff unrelated to NFT or even stuff unrelated to Web3. Yeah. So right now that's why I'm trying to expand that, so there is a bit of a fallback situation.
Yeah, true.
Because I'm not smart. I'm very interested in Web3. That's obviously why I got into it, is because I saw the opportunity for basically innovation in the technology that we have right now, but it's becoming less and less possible because continuously money is sucked out of the ecosystem by people that don't really care, because it's so easy to just pretend like you're doing something. And it's a lot harder than people think to actually build something that is going to stand the test of time, for one, or actually innovate on ideas that weren't possible in Web 2. Because most NFT collections, even the ones that are successful right now, the only thing they're actually doing with the Web3 tech is just proof of ownership. The rest of it is just Web 2 stuff that's tacked on to make it valuable. So it's just really a club. That's what pretty much all of them are, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like there's a place for that, but there's not a place for thousands of them, as we know. So it, like, doing something properly is extremely difficult, and I guess that's the reason why we haven't really seen it yet. That's I'm most interested in the clothing and the music side of things, because I think it's the easiest way to, I feel like it's maybe the lowest barrier to entry to start making some sort of changes, because you can kind of do it independently to a degree, and it's not crazy in terms of like how much money you would need. Like if I was trying to start a metaverse, you know, or trying to start a play to earn game, like to build a proper game, you're gonna need a ridiculous amount of funding. Like side note, I don't think this is public, so I won't talk about what he's actually doing, but I've had a couple calls with Maui recently. I don't know if you know him. I think Maui the Great on Twitter.
Maybe,
but he's quite tapped in. And I was having a couple calls with him and what he's doing with MetaMoon, and like the way he is actually utilizing the technology that is available, like right now, is 100% the smartest thing, going the VC route instead of like just trying to get funding for a game off NFTs, because it's just not like
royalties
how it should work. It's just retarded. So like what he's doing is really interesting. I assume they'll announce that stuff in like 2 weeks time. I think that's like what the countdown is. But yeah, like shit like that, you can't go the NFT funding route. But I'm not trying to go down that stuff. I think the clothing and music stuff is more interesting to me.
Yeah.
But I'm also kind of skeptical on how the music industry will accept like Web3 and blockchain, because I think, you know, looking at the past, I don't think they'll want to give up any market share. And they're not going to disadvantage themselves. They're not going to actively promote and help brands that are trying to take down what they've built, because like right now the music industry is like built to make them money. Like these execs and stuff, that they've made it, the whole game is to profit for them, so they're not going to actively destroy that by helping Web3 and stuff.
But at the same time, like that's because they're taking all the work and they're also doing all the marketing, and like they do all the work, so they take the most cut. I think the angle that everyone's trying to fight is to just get a little bit more power back. And for that to happen, we got to go extreme and say, okay, we're all going to do everything. Like everything's going to be decentralized. The problem with that is that comes with accountability. So everyone says, we want decentralized finance. It's like, okay, so what happens when you get hacked? You're going to complain to MetaMask, or you're going to complain to OpenSea, or you're going to blame yourself? And that's where people are like, oh, wait, okay, so I actually have to do a lot of things. That's why we're using Coinbase instead of MetaMask, because I can just contact Coinbase and like they'll fix it for me. I don't have to do all these things. You're like, okay, well, at that point, you're just using a bank. And there's no difference between using crypto and USD. And I think that's where the real issue is going to be. Is Snoop is like, oh, well, you have NFTs. It's like, okay, well, that means you have to manage everything yourself, which is money out of your pocket. And you might not have the funds. You may not have the resource. You might not have the reach. And your video that could have been viewed by a million times if you had gone with this big record company, but they would have taken 80% of your profits, but you'd never would have been blown up. Same with like Call Her Daddy podcast. They blew up on Barstool. Maybe they would have blown up on their own, but probably not. But then they blew up past Barstool and say, well, we want our own thing. Like we did this all on our own. When they're like, well, like you used it under our name, you blew up. So like we actually do deserve a huge amount of credit here. So it's a weird little world we're in.
I think people don't, like the normal consumer doesn't realize how much pull the record labels have and how much they actually do for an artist, how much of it is planned, and like it's insane. Like the stuff that blows up on TikTok, half of that shit is completely planned. Like it's been exposed so many times where people have found out that like this is an organic person, and it's like no, they've been picked. It's all placed. It's all manufactured. It's all
because you can pay for anyone. Like Snoop Dogg's out you want him for like a couple lines, $250K. If you can pull up $250K, you can collaborate with Snoop Dogg. If you can pay $50,000, you can get put on the top 10 records list or whatever, and you'll be there for 24 hours. Or you can pay some guy with 7 million followers to collab to your song. Like you can pay for anything. You can get in with anything. It's not always just pure organic reach. Like, oh, well, my song is really good. It's like, well, that's probably not the reason your song blew, even though you're good at music, you know?
Yeah, no, well, it's all branding, it's all building a company, and it's all like, yeah, face of the brand type stuff. At the end of the day, like, what's what's Logic's line? I think of greatest rapper alive is probably Stacking Produce. Like it's
Probably.
completely manufactured. Yeah, like the amount of talented artists I've seen, like their branding just doesn't hit, and the labels just drop them pretty much because
Yeah.
it's not immediately profitable. It's why these A&Rs and stuff are just scalping TikTok now for the next whoever that are just gonna run up and then die within the next 6 months. Like all the careers gonna die in the next 6 months. Like yeah, I want to be optimistic about like Web3 and music, but like I feel like if it's gonna work, it's gonna be once like decentralized sort of streaming platforms and stuff are more
I agree.
accessible and
I agree.
actually good. Because right now, if you're an independent artist, if you're Web3, therefore you're independent, you're not gonna get playlisted on anything.
Yeah, but big dogs will still win. Snoop Dogg will still get
It's
the number one.
yeah.
You know.
And then you have like Bored Ape getting Eminem and Snoop Dogg to perform at 8 first, and then I think they're getting them again to perform at the
Yeah.
VMAs.
Yep.
Like that's Web3 and that's fucking music, but it's not gonna help in any way, shape, or form. It's
just Web 2. It's just Web 2 with an ape.
Yeah, I like, and also I don't know, like there's so many fucking issues with the music side of NFTs. I wouldn't even know where to start. Like the amount of conversations I've had with like friends who are in like Web 2, like music industry and stuff. Like I don't know how it's going to succeed at this stage. Like if I did, I would be doing it. I have I have some decent ideas and like from stuff that I'm doing behind the scenes that I think are going to work because it's set up way better than a lot of these other guys, but like it's still such a gray area. Like no one knows. Like the first thing I think that popped up was the whole, you own your royalties, and now like when you've got the Drake song or whatever the shit, and it's just like the dumbest fucking shit I've ever heard in my life. It really is. It's like it's straight up like, okay, yeah, and also if I found a potion at the supermarket and I drank it and I could fly, that would be pretty cool as well. It's like, yeah, but that's just like the most outlandish shit. Like like Gary V talking about music NFTs and stuff is the dumbest thing. He has no fucking clue what he's talking about. And I like Gary V, but his takes on it are so ridiculously unrealistic and have convinced so many people. And that's why like artists have made, like Diplo and shit have made hundreds of thousands of dollars, or like Steve Aoki or something has made like millions of dollars off NFTs, and their fans have received like $4 back in royalties, and they've paid $20 in gas to receive them. It's like there's so many issues that like these guys are just kind of bouncing around, and like the whole.
But is that how it has to happen? Beginning, like Gary has to say those things just to get Steve Aoki into the door, which will get 10 other artists into the door, which gets 100 more. Like, is that the goal? Because I agree with you, Gary V is dope, but his takes on a lot of NFT stuff are crazy, dude. Like, I love Gary V, but there's been multiple times where I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, he was like, you can get funding for a movie. I'm like, motherfucker, do you know how many millions of dollars it takes to like make a good movie? It's like absurd. You might as well just do your own funding and just make an indie film if you're going to use NFTs. Like, there's no reason to come to NFTs unless you can make an unbelievable amount of money doing it, because it just costs so much money. Then what? Like some random ass dude who's never directed a movie who got a bunch of attention on TikTok now has $50 million to make a movie. Then what? You make a movie, it doesn't get picked up by anyone because he has no connections, just NFT people. And then what? You drop the movie, it makes $50 on what streaming platform? You're not going to send it to the movies. Like all these things that make no sense. I'm like, is he just saying it to open people's eyes who have a lot of money so that they jump in, and then in 25 years we fixed it? Or
yeah, I agree. It's like just start a Kickstarter for like the majority of these things, and it won't work because you can't resell a Kickstarter. Like it's fucking crazy. That's like the same problem I had with DAOs and like the giving opportunity for people to make decisions that don't know what they're talking about. It's like, okay, so you're gonna get a indie film director to fund their movie. It's like, okay, there might be a reason why he's funding it with NFT people and not like an actual
Right.
arts like funding thing, you know, like, or like something like Taika Waititi doing like indie films back in New Zealand before he did like Thor Ragnarok and shit, like getting funded for those $2, $3, $4 million movies. It's like there's a reason he got funded, is because he went through and had this script read over fucking a million times by all these people that know what they're talking about. And it's like, okay, so now we're gonna go backwards and get a community of 5,000 people to go, oh yeah, this sounds pretty cool. And then it's just like dog shit and it doesn't perform at all. It's like, who's going to buy it? The people that have already bought it. Like, like the only people interested are the people that have already spent money. They're going to spend more money. Shouldn't they be getting it for free? It's like, okay,
Yeah.
so now I'm paying $250 to get a movie made that I'm going to watch once.
Right.
But I got a backpack or something.
It's got to hit. It's got to be it's got to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the show to be a success and actually make money off of it. And you're gonna pick 99 movies, and not a single one is gonna be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's the issue. And like when Gary Vee talks about timing, he was right almost every time. I think he was fucking wrong this time with NFTs. He was so. We're not ready for NFTs to hit the market. NFT technology, blockchain technology is not where it needs to be. We're not culturally where it needs to be. And Gary Vee's rebuttal to that would be like, well, because of my screaming about it for 2 years is the reason we kickstarted to where it'll be later. But I'm like, okay, but as far as timing, like we're not there yet. Like, I don't know if he was right and it's just going to take a long time, or if he was just genuinely too early and we're not far enough. Like crypto, I feel like has to have had more adoption for normal people before NFTs could come in and be actually success. The only thing he was early to was a casino. So I'm like, yeah, you were early, but about the worst part about NFT is that you even yourself denounce, and you're like trying to tell everyone, make sure you get out because all these projects are going to go to zero. It's like, okay, so why did you push so hard now? And like a lot of people will say, so he could sell VFriends. And like to that, I'm like, fuck, shit. I mean, I guess, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Even though I want to believe, I don't think Gary did that to steal a bunch of money. But when you put it like that, it's like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah. That's an interesting perspective. I think that's probably true to an extent, unless he maybe he didn't understand how bad it would be,
True.
like how much or like how dumb people are.
How much money
Maybe,
also got involved, like to
yeah,
have
like
he raised $90 million, dude, in like a week or something. I was just like, what the fuck, bro? $90 million. No, it was when he dropped VFriends and then all the royalties. They had like they have like I think they have a high royalty. I think it's like potentially 7. I don't know. Someone check that for me. But he's got a royalty on that, and they made like, I just can't believe it. Like when you think about Subducks, for example, another project, just a normal project, OG. They are like in the top 100 for royalties, right? And they made like millions, like 4 or 5 millions of royalties. So I'm like, wow, fuck. Like they've got a lot of money sitting in that treasury. And I don't know, now we're at a point where like people are trying to do the same thing. Like I'm surprised I'm still getting Brutally Honest Review like inbound requests, because I'm like, wow, you guys got some balls dropping a project now and then paying me a fee to make a video on you too. Like, I don't know. It's interesting to me.
Yeah, it's crazy how much money some people have made and then like not injected kind of back into the space, because it's hard as well. It's like if you make a project and you make $10 million, how do you actually at this stage, like how do you not just take that away from the space? How does that go back into Web3?
Right.
I don't think it can. Like unless you're strictly then supporting like other Web3 ventures and stuff, like the money is going out to Web2 companies and stuff. It's I don't know. It's just, yeah, it's too early to be honest. Like the way NFT technology will work is just not this at all. I don't think. Like I mean, think about like when Bitcoin started and like how long it took to even get to where we are now. Like literally what, like 10 years just to get to a spot where still a very small amount of people around the world actually use it.
Exactly.
Like we've gone far, like there's countries that use it and all this stuff, but like it's still not, the everyday person still doesn't know shit about it. Like if you watch like Andres on the street thing, asking people if they take $1 or a Bitcoin, 90% of people say $1 because they don't know fucking how it works.
I don't think I've ever met anyone who knows what an NFT is. I don't even say it. Like I don't even tell them I'm a YouTuber most of the time. But if I do, I still say tech, and I don't go into it after that because I'm like, they're not gonna know. Or if they do know, the only thing they've heard is a scam, or it's that thing related to crypto that's like illegal or something. Like that's the only thing they think of.
Yeah.
Or they'll just say, "Oh man, crypto's down, huh?" And I'm just like,
yeah. There's this very surface level understanding, which is obviously just all the shit stuff as well, which sucks.
Right.
but it's also like the good stuff is kind of too hard to understand.
Yeah.
I feel like, because it's like even if I don't know if you'd count Bored Ape Yacht Club as a good thing. Like if you're explaining it to someone that's not in the space, it's like, okay, so there's these monkeys that cost a shit ton of money, and some people have gotten merch, and like they've done some events and they had some people perform, but it costs like $100,000 to buy in. Like that doesn't actually sound very appealing to most people. They can go to Rolling Loud and see people
True.
perform for $300. So like I don't know, like for cool stuff in Web3, cool use cases, I feel like there's no right now, I don't think there's any company that's properly promoting that, or at least has the audience yet. Like maybe like WGMI, like what Andreas and shit are doing could help with that, because I feel like that's kind of they're going like low barrier to entry, not using a shit ton of sophisticated terms, making it enjoyable, and then talking about like cool stuff that's going on. Like that is a good way to get the message out there to like a general audience, and to make it entertaining. Doing the on the street stuff is like getting that audience slowly down the door and converting them in. So yeah, like it, I don't know. It just, we just need to get to that next point. I think maybe like the way Utes are going, like, have you read over the white paper doc thing? Like, do you know what they're doing?
I don't know too much about Utes. I know a little bit about DeGods, but I don't know too much about the ecosystem.
So like I don't know it off by heart. I read over it, and that's like what my video is about, but I kind of forget because it's a bit confusing, because it's more of like a thesis notepad type thing. It's not really like a white paper that is explaining it fully. It's kind of like, these are the ideas and this is what we're thinking of doing and why we're doing it. But it's in response, and they dropped it right after the CCO thing with Moonbirds, and it's kind of in response to that and the IP versus CCO. And they're saying, okay, we're going to do neither of these, and we're going to give you this copyright with a Y in it, like for Utes. And getting this Y copyright is going to act in a different way. And I think like at the start of it, they pretty much say, if I can get it up, word for word, it's pretty interesting take. I think you just got to go to their website and then Y paper.
If anyone's in the chat listening and wants to drop any info they know on Utes, drop it in the chat so we know, because I don't know too much, and I gotta probably make a video like either right after this or like when I wake up tomorrow morning, just like as soon as possible. Probably tonight, honestly, because actually I can check right now while you're doing that. I can check Zoot List and just connect my wallet and see if they're still like looking, or if they've already decided no.
So, and you can edit, you can edit the Ute list now, your application. Yeah, so it says, Y is our common sense version of copyright and ownership for NFTs. Think of Y as a way of registering copyright, C, with an NFT collection being the governing body. When holders build businesses, sub-communities, and even fan art for an NFT, it typically drives more value and attention to the NFT. The current standards in the ecosystem don't really support this. Right now, we're usually offered IP rights on just our individual NFT, like Bored Ape Yacht Club, Yuga Labs, or CCO, where our NFTs are literally owned by the public domain. Each collection would have its own Y registry, where it's easy to track who's approved to be using the NFT's IP. This allows projects to approve and reject usage requests at Web3 speed. We want to test this model with Utes with an idea that would only be possible by using a mechanism like Y. So then, too long didn't read. We create the Ute store for artists to submit their custom version of traits. Holders can also hire artists to do commission work for them. Artists will own the IP of their work and collect a % royalties. Holders can purchase the community created traits from their store. Artists can also set the traits to be free if they'd like. Holders can only apply one customized trait to their NFT per month. The customized traits cannot change the shape/size/name of the trait. So e.g. a shirt can't be changed into a fur coat, also must stay same size, and it will not change the metadata. So a shirt is going to be just a shirt in metadata, but it could be my shirt, it could be your shirt. It would look different. And community members can create and officially register sub-communities/sub-DAOs. They can charge SOL for entry, collect a % of royalties on all sales for their sub-communities. And then it goes into detail, like there's another couple pages about how it's all going to work. But Yeah, basically like registering your own traits and then giving the ability for like companies to use your NFT like CCO,
Mhm.
but also regain the IP rights so it's not public domain, which is
Gotcha.
interesting. And they're saying like, so we've adapted the IP and the CCO to make sense in a broader term of like Web3 and the speed of how that goes and the use cases that we want to actually have. Like
Mhm.
who said IP or CCO was going to be the only way to do it? Like if this is a completely new landscape, why not create a new copywriting system like this? So I don't know. It's really interesting.
Yeah, that is super interesting. I like that. This Astro says, as one of the artists you listed, I couldn't be more stoked for this store. Yeah, so I'm interested to see what people other people who are watching, if you guys are more excited, if you got you listed or if you were you listed, would you be just down to flip, or would you try and stay in this ecosystem? Like, it's just one of those things, like when people buy World of Women Galaxy, for example, I think the reason they buy into that is because they know World of Women will take off, therefore the Galaxy will moon with it, just like every time Board of Yacht Club moons, everything within the ecosystem moons. Would you be doing that to be part of a massive community which is DeGods, or would you be looking to just flip the fuck out of there and just take your money if it even goes up? Like, do you think the floor is going to go up when they drop, or is it going to be an easier situation?
I think it will go up. I was listening to a space today with like Alex and Shin. They were kind of talking shit, obviously, but they were saying they reckon around 100 Sol, which is like a fourth, based off like mutants and stuff like that. So I think that's somewhat realistic, which is going to be what well, like $4,000, I guess. Would be.
How much does it cost to mint it again?
I don't know. I think it might be the dust. The dust amount that you need.
How much it's gonna be? It's gonna be at least a couple $100. I feel like,
If it's the dust, then it's over 800.
Yeah. Wow, that's a lot. Fuck.
Yeah, no, it's a shit ton. If it is that, I don't know. If because you know how you can get like the short list. Yeah, you get like the short list, right? So
yeah, let me see how much dust is.
Okay, I hope it hasn't gone up a shit ton because I don't own any.
I don't own any. You have ViewList, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. 279. It looks like.
Fuck! It was 2 when I got when I like submitted.
So 375 times, or no, yeah, 375 times 2.
It's 258 for me.
258. Okay, if it's me, it's $1,000. Jesus Christ.
Bruh.
Wow, that's a lot, dude. That is a lot. But they have a really positive sentiment, so it's like, for me, if I was doing that, so for example, if I get you listed, my thought process there is going to be, it's going to cost $1,000 to mint. That's going to turn off a lot of people. It's going to put a lot of people out. I also don't think people are going to pay more than 1,700. I don't think that'll even do a 2x. Like, I think it'll get close to a 2x maybe, but the risk is it doesn't, and I've wasted my money. For me, like, that's a tough risk. Like, that's not something I'm buying in thinking I'm going to get rich tomorrow. I'm going to buy in and likely make a little bit of money for a medium to high risk. Like, that's where I would put that. Because Isu, I would have thought is a sure bet to at least get like 50% of your money back, or plus 50% of your money on the mint. I don't know. I mean, I think this is going to do well. I don't know if it'll do as well as we all think. Almost no project has done as well as we thought. And we've been bullish on multiple projects now that probably should have done better. And in a bull run, dude, Isu would have sold out no matter what. Like, it doesn't matter what people think about it. No community, no Discord, who cares? Like, in a bull run, that sells out, guaranteed. But in this kind of market, people are very, very unsure of putting their money anywhere.
Yeah, for sure. I'm confused. Well, no, sorry, I'm not confused. I'm intrigued to see what happens with dust, though. If like how much it's going to go up, and then like I don't think it would necessarily dump after the mint unless DGod's team is actually dumping it. If they're just going to hold it all,
I think you have a better chance of buying dust and getting profit than you do buying it into this project. Like, you have a better chance of making 75% on your flip than you would just saving up as much of that dust as you can to flip the NFT itself.
That's what I'm thinking now. Like, well, Astral's saying, like, don't wait too long.
Sell your Ute list, bro. Sell your Ute list. People would have made, dude. Someone sold a lot of people sold their Izu whitelist for $1,200. Apparently, that was the going price. Yeah, $1,200 was for whitelist because people thought for sure they'd make that money back, at least 2x their money, and then everyone got dusted basically because nobody made any profit on that flip.
Jesus. Oh, so
Yeah,
it's saying
bro.
5.5 mil dust will be held by team after mint, which is, wait, how much is that?
It's a lot. That's a lot of money they're keeping in their ecosystem.
Wait, isn't that like, wait, do you mean 5.5 million?
But dust won't be at
Dust or
270. Dust won't be 275. Like that's not how much. Like dust is going to be a fraction of that because we saw ApeCoin get to $20. People said that, oh, so the average is going to be like $10. The average is like $4 or $3, $2. So if we look at dust, probably close to be like 30 to 70 cents. Probably close to like 30, 50 cents. So if it's 40 cents, for example, and they're going to have 5.5 million, we'll put 500,000, 500 or so 5. That's like a few $1,000,000. So they'll have a few $1,000,000 held just by dropping this token, basically, which is wild because I'm like, wow, they're literally just like giving themselves money.
yeah.
If the market accepts it.
If they're gonna hold 5.5 million dust, not $5.5 million, that's the whole mint. Meaning they're not planning to dump it after mint. I don't know how they're gonna. Then they can't use the money though.
Yeah, like, I'm not sure actually. Yeah, if anyone caught that and anyone's got an idea there, let us know because I'm not sure. Neither of us are experts on this. I'm definitely not an expert.
No, I'm a little bit confused. 15,000 used, 375 dust, 5.5. Yeah, exactly. So, well, like, are they just not gonna? They've said that though. They're not gonna dump dust after the fact to then make money. Like, how are they gonna afford to do anything? They're just gonna hold a shit ton of dust.
It could be one of those like Nate just made a video the other day talking about the fact that this new project he's excited about is holding back 1,000 mints, I think, which will only have value if the project goes up over time. But I'm like, what if they only moon in the beginning? Are they going to sell at the beginning to make profit? Or like, what is their plan? Like, have they been afraid about that? And I don't know. And so the same with this situation, like, I'm not sure what their deal is. Honestly, I just haven't done enough research. I was going to do a review on Meme Land next to capitalize on the attention for Meme Land and their stuff. But as far as the use project, I really just didn't know it was blowing up until a few days ago, until everyone started comparing it to Izu, saying they should have done it like this. They should have done it like with Utelist. And then when I found out through a TikTok that you can just sign up for Utelist in 10 seconds by putting your email down, I was like, okay, fire. And Orion is drunk in his car. He'd like to announce. So that's fucking hilarious. Yeah, we'll ask a question for Orion. If Orion was drunk and he was right here in the stream with us, he would probably ask Pasta a random question. He'd probably ask him something along the lines of not what is your favorite food, but maybe something along the lines of what is here. Let me go through my list. I have like a list of like random questions that I can ask if I need some like inspiration. Do you have like a favorite? Okay, here's a good one. Here's an interesting one. Do you have any favorite alcohol? Like, do you like drinks at all?
I don't really drink.
Or weed?
No, I don't smoke either. But we can't really smoke here because in Australia it's really, I think it's really expensive and really hard to get. It's very illegal.
Gotcha. Probably good, honestly. It's probably good. But do you drink anything? Like if you had to drink, if someone's like, hey, we're at a cocktail event, you can have any drink you want, what are you gonna say?
Yeah, no, I don't drink often, so I don't really know many drinks. I always just get vodka lime soda. That's what I was getting in New York. Just I like soda water. Like I drink like just bubble water.
Oh, you're top G.
So
all right.
Yeah.
Shit.
So I usually just have that. It's like kind of the best.
Nice.
It's just it's also cheap. It was weird because in New York it was like open bar and shit, but like so it didn't matter. But at least here it's like the cheapest.
Dude, we got treated like king. I mean, I didn't feel like a king, but like almost. I've never been treated that well at a place that I didn't really like know what was going on. Like I showed up and like we were with people and we just were like, oh yeah, VIP, and I was like, oh okay, cool. Like I've never been to an event where like you walk in, you're just like, what's it called, like a side or something. Like you walk in, like people are like ready for you to like receive you, kind of thing, like take care of you and make sure that you have fun at their event. Because I've never been in a situation where they're pandering to you. Like the project's through an event, they want to make sure people are excited. The content creators, they'd be the ones covering it. So like their goal is to make sure the content creators feel like they were taken care of. And that was cool because you walk into the bar, they're like ready to make any drink you want, like whatever you need, like they'll just get it covered for you and like they skip the line, like all these things. Like this is kind of cool.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I'd love to see the number of how much the venues made
Oh my
overall,
god,
like
yeah.
how much they extracted from the Web3 space with how much money people were paying to like have those venues and then for the open bars
Yeah.
and stuff. It's fucking
For
insane.
sure, for sure. And I saw Orion said he's got Captain Morgan. That's the drink he's drinking. And then we got an answer. He said there's a dust announcement the day after the mint and a new DGOS roadmap the day after. You use your dust to mint the new traits on you. Oh, okay, okay. So yeah, if you're
Yeah.
buying, it's probably smart to buy. This is not financial advice, but I would make more money probably flipping dust than I would flipping this NFT for like a guaranteed thing. Because you're right, like a lot of people are going to be using it, so the token will go up because people are going to be buying it to use it. So I
Yeah.
don't know if you have to check at the hourly and probably like the day chart of dust token to see if you're at a good buying opportunity. But I imagine it'll go up in the next few days, especially if the Ute mint is coming up in the next week or so.
Yeah, I'm having a look. Well, I have the Dex tools up right now. It's crazy because it was at $1. It was at $1 a month ago, which was the lowest it went to. And then it's just had little small run ups.
Yeah.
It peaked all the way up at all-time high $4 3 days ago.
Jesus
And
Christ.
now it's pulled back heavy. It pulled all the way down to $2. Now it's back up to 250.
Yeah, I was gonna say anywhere from the 2 to 250 sounds like a good buy-in then.
Yeah, so I guess like right now we've literally had the past week was just like a little green candles getting bigger, and then we had a massive what do you call it? Massive wick up on a red candle there 3 days ago, and then yeah, we're sitting now back like, so I don't know, basing it off that, this might be like the lowest it's going to go to before it pumps up again, because yeah, as more people go, every time someone gets whitelisted, they're going to go buy dust.
Yeah, I would say for you, you might get at least like half of your dust now. Maybe there's another chance where it drops again, but then you got to ask yourself like how much are you actually going to save if it drops to $1.50, like Astro got in at. Like how much would you actually save buying in now versus $1.50? It's like, is it just a few $100s difference? Like doesn't even matter at that point. Like with when you're trading like shit coins, for example, it's like better to just get out than to just keep holding, because the chance of it going to zero is also high. And so with these kind of things, you just have to keep into account those things.
Yeah, it's like dust isn't gonna well, that's the thing. Unless people, which probably has happened, unless there's fucking massive dust holders that are waiting to dump right as the shit pumps right before the fucking mint, because everyone realizes they need it to buy it.
So it might be stable. It might just be stable and chilling.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. It would depend a bit on who's holding, like how much people are holding right now that they don't need to mint. Because it's like, okay, if D gods all hold a shit ton of dust and don't actually need any of it to mint this, they'll just drop it and make fucking a few $1,000s.
Yeah. Are people in, like, so I know you have like your own community. You have Kitchen My Pasta. That's like that's a subscription style, right? That's not like an NFT project.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a subscription for my Discord through WAP. Because when I first started it, I wasn't sure how long I wanted to do it for, and I didn't want people to buy in. Like that's so stressful. I feel like having an alpha group through an NFT.
Worry about your floor price too.
Yeah, that I also didn't want like that, like ton of money like up front. Like that would have stressed me out a lot.
Sure. Yeah, you got to earn that. That's actually a good point. You earn it as you go, because people would just leave if they don't like it, and then if they do like it, they'll keep buying in. Yeah,
it's an interesting one. Like Kosher, for example, his is meant to reset every year. Like there's meant to be a new subscription. He announced that like when he made it, like that was a big thing when he did it at the time. But it's like weird, like how do you implement that properly with people like buying like right as that happens, like before without knowing? Like there's so many issues that pop up with that. Like it
we're getting a lot more smart people and a lot of new people. So like people are trying to reverse engineer what could happen by not doing the thing everyone thinks they're going to do. But then there's a lot of people doing that. So you're almost seeing this effect where like everyone knows this is going to happen. So then all these people do the opposite, and it ends up just like hitting each other, and we balance out. And then like neither thing happens. So it's interesting for me, because sometimes I'll buy in thinking I'm going to be on one side of the situation, and I buy, then like literally nothing happens because there's so many people who thought what I was thinking, but then also a ton of people who thought the other thing. And I don't know, like I'm interested to see like how crypto does in a few years too. Like, are we going to keep seeing crazy returns? A lot of people say no, because like as the market cap grows, there's just less controversy. It doesn't go up to like, there's not like 75% drops every other day. And I wonder what the market's going to evolve into, like how we were talking about the NFTs. Like the NFTs aren't going to be used the way they are now in the future. Like that's why people have such a problem trying to understand NFTs, because they just think about it like these casino things. But it's like, yeah, but like the technology under it's not going to be used for trading like that in a few years. It's going to be used as the basis for business and shipping, built and stuff.
Yeah, no, it's gonna the way it's gonna mature is gonna be interesting to see. Like that is really interesting that you're talking about like more people having understanding, but then like new people also coming in. It just kind of gets more and more even, and then you get weird scenarios that you wouldn't predict to happen because like when smart traders were kind of in the minority, it was like a lot easier for them to make money. But then as more people understand the market, it completely changes. It's like a lot of people that were making a lot of money trading early on aren't doing it anymore because they don't like the market is completely different to when they were making money. And now you have new people that understand the market better, and it's just completely different game, I feel like, right now. And it's going to be like that. It's just going to keep changing.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I'll be back in 1 second.
Okay, cool. Yo, fam, if you have any questions for him, just drop them in the chat. I'm going to double check with this camera thing that is going well because it's super laggy right now. I don't know what it looks like for y'all on my screen. He's still there talking, but he's like not there talking. It's so funny. I can't tell. Like it might be a battery thing. Like I feel like it probably is that. I'm going to put it into the, because I feel like it might be like just a camera battery thing. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, I see Orion's got a question here. He says, how many times do I rebuy? Hold on, let me move him out of here. How many times do I rebuy decorations or lights? I feel like you should just buy Christmas lights once, and then everything else, like you can. I don't know, dude. That's really tough. Do you rebuy decorations? I've never really been in a situation where I'm really decorating. Like I'm single, I'm living in my own like little apartment, so I'm like I don't really care to decorate that much. I feel like you just buy cheap shit at like Target and then you just throw that shit away, or you just throw it in a cabinet somewhere or like in an attic, and then you come back to it a few months later or a year later. I feel like that's really the answer. It depends how old you are. If you got a family and a house and shit, just buy it and stick it in the attic. But if you're like a kid, fucking just honestly like probably just skip it is likely the answer. And then I see we have, what is it? Deading royalties will kill most of these PFEs. Yo. Oh, I was also going to send you a private message. I don't know if because we've been going for like 2.5 hours. I just want to double check like your battery is good on your camera. I'm plugged into the wall, so like my battery's electronic. Okay, cool. So I want to double check.
Yeah.
And then Orion says, I know it's a cliche statement, but we are early. Yeah, Orion, it's cliche and you're drunk, but we are early. You're absolutely right. Absolutely
too
right.
early.
Yeah, too fucking early. So let's do some like fire like what's it called? Rapid fire Q&A stuff. Like talk about life things. Do you have any tattoos?
No.
Why?
Just never interested me enough to get one.
No mushroom clubhouse tattoo anywhere?
God, fuck no. If I get an NFT tattooed that like isn't my collection, just fucking delete me.
That's funny. Like I have a Bored Ape Yacht Club hat back there, but it's not because I bought a Bored Ape, it's because someone sent me it, and I was like, I can't wear it though, like 'cause I don't have an ape. It's like that'd be silly of me. Like especially if someone with an ape saw me and was like, "Yo, like nice hat, like I got one too." I'd be like, "Oh fuck me."
That's how I felt at the fucking parties in New York, and I'm like,
"What do you mean?"
Oh yeah, you got a CyberCon? I'm like, no.
Oh, that's fucking funny, actually. That is funny.
Don't put a bumper sticker on a Bentley.
Where would you get a tattoo if you did get one though? Like where would it be on your body?
Oh, I haven't really thought about this. Maybe, probably not somewhere where it's like annoying to cover, like on like forearm down. Probably not there.
Yeah.
Like my roommate has a few. Most of them are. He's got one on his back, down like the middle, and then like here. And then where are his other ones? I forget. But like, yeah, maybe on the torso or like upper region, which is probably the most common, I think.
True. Yeah, I got my big one on my shoulder, my upper arm. Yeah, this one's a good one. I'm gonna finish it out. Like I have no problem showing the sleeve. I have like the ones on my fingers and my wrist here, but I want to finish out the sleeve soon in the next year or so. I love the way tattoos look. Like I want to get one on my neck here, like a smaller one here on my neck. And then I think about getting one either across my chest or across my upper back, probably the back. But I don't know. I really have fucked with tattoos growing up. I think it's because all my role models and idols growing up, like in Hollywood, were either like had strong muscles and they were like 6 feet tall and like would beat up people, or they had like some sick tattoos. So I think it's coming from that. But I definitely want some tattoos. Do you have any conspiracies that you like that you think are potentially true?
Most conspiracies I think are true. The frogs are gay. For sure. I don't know a lot about like I don't dig into them.
Nah, you can tell
a
the truth.
shit ton.
Which ones have you dug into? Which ones have you gone down the rabbit hole? Hollow Earth?
No, I don't go down the rabbit hole of conspiracies. I just listen to some and I'm like, yeah, that probably is true. Mostly stuff about like just the government and like the way all of that, like how much they hide and stuff. And I don't know what counts as a conspiracy, because stuff that I think is conspiracies, I don't actually think of them being conspiracies because I think they're true. Like I don't care about conspiracies that are actually like so out there that I would consider it a conspiracy. It's more stuff like China making TikTok to kill the West. I think that is true, and I don't consider it a conspiracy, but it probably is to some.
Fake moon landing?
Yeah, probably.
Boarding back over Nazis. Honestly, this one's interesting because for me, I feel like there were definitely some dirty jokes in there, but I think it was just dark humor. Like I don't know if it was really like they want to take over the world and spread this conspiracy or spread this idea that the Nazis were good people kind of thing. I'm like, dude, they were just an NFT project that launched a year ago that had no idea they're going to blow up, and now they've got some like sick jokes in there. But it's not one of those things that people need to freak out and cancel them. It's just like, yeah, dude, this random ass project with some random ass anonymous people put together a collection of monkeys with traits. Some are cool, some are normal, some are fucked up. But it's the same as like when you look into a SpongeBob cartoon, you can find some dirty jokes in the background, but it's not like that was the whole goal. They just did that because it was funny. So that's the way I look at the Boarding Yacht Club thing.
Yeah, I agree. It's like, yeah, there's no way those motherfuckers had the foresight to do what they did that early and weren't like legit just 4chan fucking dorks. Like, there's no way. Like that is the culture. That's the whole thing. So it makes complete sense. Yeah, I don't agree. Like I don't disagree. I think they're not trying to like take over the world with Nazi propaganda and fucking troll the entire internet. Yeah. But I think, I don't know, it's like the 4chan trolling stuff where it's kind of like they just want to see what happens. They just want to put it out there and see how people react. Like,
did you grow up on that? Do you know about that culture?
A little bit. I wasn't super deep into 4chan, to be honest. Like, I didn't go deep on Reddits and stuff really that much. I used them, but like only like surface level. Like I didn't go too deep, like dark web shit and stuff. But
true. Yeah, that's probably smart. Do you have any weird dreams that are reoccurring?
I don't really dream anymore. No? I don't know why. No, I used to dream a lot when I was a kid, but and they weren't necessarily weird either. Huh?
So you're just living your dream life.
Yes. Every day's like Saturday.
Eating pasta.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I haven't. I was saying this to my roommates dream real fucking weird. One of them has like sleep paralysis demons, like the singer one. Then the other one that's just whose room's in front of me. He has like weird dreams. I can't even think of one, but like the most outlandish shit. Then the other one down the fucking end of the house has like he'll have the most random shit, like Hitler's taken his girlfriend from year 4 and is like controlling him to do an exam in science class, and it's like if he fails it, she's gonna die or something, like some shit like that. Like it's the most random shit. Why is my light doing this?
What have you been doing with your light? You've been like tinkering with it the whole show.
Yeah,
is it like going out?
It's because when I started, it wasn't on charge, and it needs to be on charge. Otherwise, it overheats and runs out. And then I put it on charge, but it like didn't cool down fully. So now it's like fucked. This one was always on charge, so it was fine. But yeah, I have these. Let's take it off because I don't have it on. I just have these ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they only last for like an hour.
I have the Aperture one, Aperture MC, similar thing. It's got it's pretty bright actually. It works really well. but I usually put this in the like it changes colors. Actually, hold on. It changes colors and it's on like a rainbow thing. So I'll
Yeah.
put that in the back there, next to my subducts thing because it looks good against the background. These things are dope, but yeah, they're annoying because they don't stay charged. Like my lights right now, they're not that bright, but they're electric, so they stay on the entire time. And so they're just simple for me. And I just bought them on Amazon like a year ago, so I just fuck with them. They're like $20.
Yeah, Nate recommended these ones because I was like,
His are good.
and then I was talking to Andreas, and then he got upset at me because my lighting wasn't good, and said that he said go look at Cade's, and then fucking figure out how to do it like that, or get a neon sign or some shit.
Dude, I actually got away from it for a while. He was actually the one who yelled at me too. He was like, "Yo, what happened to your studio?" I was like, "I moved." He was like, "Well, make it better." I was like, "Fuck, you're right." And he was like, "Get your shit back." He goes, "You're the whole vibe of the videos are like not the same as they used to be. Like it's not cool. It's not like dark and like whatever." And I was like, "Yo, you're actually fucking right. Like I need those curtains back. I need the plant. I need my art in the back, and I need like my sign, all these things." And like yeah, he was right. Like the studio theme color was probably like tan, like the tan color of my walls. But then I was like, shit, I got to add like colors and stuff in the background again.
Yeah, he got mad. I have 2 ring lights and then 2 square lights, whatever you call them,
Key lights.
Yeah, and I had them either side of my monitors, which was pointless. I don't know why. So I put them both there, and then I have a key light, and then yeah, I had my 2 colored lights. I had them just on like warm yellows because I just want it to be like a warm type of vibe. And I had one up there on top of my shoe boxes, and then one on my bed. And it was kind of like it just wasn't doing enough, wasn't enough light on my face. So it's a bit better now. But it doesn't look great because I have my blinds open because it's daytime. So it's like it's
oh yeah. Light. Wait, what time is it over there?
12:47 middle of the day.
Oh, that's crazy, dude. It's so weird. It's like 8 o'clock at night for me.
He made me put that up as well. Oh, you can't see that on the stream, but
I can see it in the corner of my screen though.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Which was really sick. I got
the K.
Someone from Twitter. I think he did like one for Popeye or something. I reached out to him. I was speaking to him, and then I was like, yeah, could you do a rug for my kitchen logo? This is that kind of the old logo though.
Yeah, and I'll turn off my camera so people can see the K. 1 sec.
There you go. So it's a natural rug, like it's quite thick, and then I like wood glued plastic bits onto the back of it, and then got those double sticky things to put it onto the wall. So it's like that's 3D, cool. And then also with this green light, I think it's a cool effect because it's like, oh well, the light's fucked. It's not. Let me put it back on charge. I got the green light on it. Yeah, it's not gonna work now, I guess. Okay. If I can do that. It's just turning off. This is a mess. The green light and then the red light, it kind of makes it it like gives a red and green drop shadow to it, which makes it look like 3D, like when you put those glasses on. It's cool. But yeah, anyway,
very cool. This is how it looks, guys. If I zoom it out, like I like this. I like the way this looks because like my logo in the background, that you can see like the green and the red behind us. But it like makes our faces so small when you're watching the stream, unless you're full screen. So I always just crop it in a little bit. I feel like this is better for the podcast. But here's a great question from Michael. He said, "Future of NFTs, traders or investors going to make it? Been a trader's place to thrive. But do you think that this bear shaking out project would be a place that blue chips thrive?" And thoughts on buying blue chips, buying chips on the dip.
Future of NFTs, and then there's a few things here, so I'm trying to. I
mean, crypto people are still trading, dude. It's been years. People are still trading cryptos. People are still trading stocks. Like there are shit coins, there are shit memes, there are stocks that are stupid, like GameStop, Bed Bath and Beyond. The other day, if you got into that project, if you were inside the Reddit there, they blew the fuck up. So there's opportunities everywhere for trading. Trading will always be a thing, just because people like to gamble. But will NFTs be forever a place where people gamble? I don't know about that. Like I think the technology will supersede that and transcend that. But I think there will be a place for these collectibles. Yeah, that's gonna be tough. It's gonna be hard to know who's gonna make it. Like I don't even try and play that game. I pick people that I think are competent and smart and cool. And I'm like, look, if you happen to be the one who makes it, I'll be happy and I'll be glad to have one of your tokens. If you don't, then at least I like you. But I'm not gonna just pick some random person. I don't think.
Yeah, betting on ideas at this stage is dumb because no one knows what's gonna work, especially traders and stuff. Like we're not gonna know what works if the bigger guys don't know what's gonna work. That's like stupid to think that you're smart enough to pick that. So it's definitely best to invest on people, but yeah, talking about trading versus investing. I think we're moving out of that trading, and now we're going to move further to the investing. And I think every time a bull run comes, the trading aspect's going to wedge itself back in a bit.
Yeah.
But then the investing side is just going to be better off long term, because it's
And
just like
the blue chips are gonna pump hard, dude. The blue chips pump so much harder. Like you're gonna make way more money having 2 blue chips than having 10 meme projects. Because
sure.
it's gonna pump from like 4 ETH to 5 ETH, which is a 1 ETH gain. Versus you get a 70x on your meme project, but you only get like $200 from it.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's like, yeah, trading is not going to be the same like it is for crypto. There's no way, because it's not liquid enough. Simple as that. Like it's completely different asset class. So
yeah. Did you ever do any trading before you got into NFTs and stuff?
Yeah, I had invested a bit into crypto, and then I was slowly like putting money in back like probably the start of the bull run. I feel like it was right as Bitcoin like first had its big leg up.
That was in crypto you were investing, you said?
Yeah. So I think like started 2020. I had money already in it, but like that's when I got into it more. And then I looked into like leverage trading and like futures a little bit. I tried to learn about that, which was interesting. It just took up a lot of time, and I didn't find it very interesting. And I feel like to do that properly, like to do it well, to the extent where you're actually using skill and not just like gambling, you need to spend like a lot of fucking time learning, and it needs to kind of take over your life a little bit, which I feel like it does for some people. And then they can maybe lay back a bit with the skill that they have in the community and kind of just go from there. But like to start out, you need to spend a shit ton of time. And I was kind of, I think I just started uni at the time, and I was trying to do more music related stuff. And I was like, I don't want to spend 8 hours a day learning about like trading, like just learning technical analysis and stuff. Like it didn't interest me, so I didn't really bother. But I did try it for a bit. But then they banned it actually I was doing it on Binance, and Binance for Australia was really good, but then they banned it like at the end of 2020. They took away futures.
Wow.
You can still use the platform. Like I still use that as the main exchange. It's just the easiest for Australia, I think. But yeah, they took it away for some reason. I think there's a few other ones you can do it on for sure, but like that was definitely the easiest. So
yeah.
I don't know why they took it. It was weird.
Yeah, for me, I don't for anyone listening, I'm very particularly now about, especially after like Voyager shut down, BlockFi, I think even got audited or something. Like basically everyone you're supposed to be able to trust fucked themselves in some way. And I was like, okay, well, Trust Wallet, MetaMask, or decentralized wallets, I think that's the only way to go from now, just to be safe. But even that, dude, like I don't keep extra. If I have extra Ethereum, I'm just going to convert it to ETH. Like I don't, or to USD. Like I don't even care about trying to time the trading, because we're in a bear market. It's just we're at low prices no matter what, and me making an extra 20% by taking a massive risk isn't even worth it. So I keep my money in the bank account, which is so weird, because I'm like, that's literally the safest place it is right now, because at least it's backed up and it's like a federally traded company, and they have to be public about things. They can't just drop 99% in a day, or at least have a better chance of not.
Even it devaluing over time with inflation and stuff, it's still less risky than just having it on like an exchange for no reason. I agree. Like even like Rolexes and stuff are good investments, but like they've gone down a lot recently. I think like that whole market's dropped. So it's like there isn't really like anyone that says there's a like really good asset class. I feel like it's just like that's just not really true. Like
if something's coming though, like something we're in a transition right now of like all the stuff that was pumping for the past few years is seeing an end to the cycle. So there's something right now while y'all are watching and sitting here, spending your time with us in this so far 2.5 hour podcast, something is currently about to blow up that people are buying that isn't in the news yet, that in about 6 to 12 months or whatever will become the new meta of stuff. Like it was real estate for a while that everyone was making money. I don't know what it's going to be, but something was going to take off. I always thought it could be potentially be gaming, and I think that's where like some projects that have been building for the past 8 to 12 months. So I'm like, the narrative around those projects potentially, and the speculation and lore around it could blow up. And so I've got a couple NFTs that I'm holding that I'm like, these are down really low right now, and even if they have any kind of blow up, they'll see a massive return. So
yeah, investing in V-Bucks is probably the most trustworthy asset, I think, right now. Just Fortnite. Yeah, I think there's gonna be some crazy fucking gains in the like gaming and metaverse stuff. I think like in like 2 years, I think if that times well with like the market, people are gonna
Crazy.
make a fucking ridiculous amount of money. Just crazy. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, like some of the stuff I've seen for like what games are planning to do, it just takes ages though. Like there's a lot of money involved and a lot of time to make it work. To make something that's gonna last is not easy. So it's just gonna take time.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree there. And that's why I think it's more important to invest in yourself. At least for a lot of your stuff, invest in your time and money in yourself, and then invest in other ways and diversify a little bit. But like, especially if you're in Web3, to invest in yourself is a better decision because you don't know what's going to take, what's not going to take. But if you're here and you're growing every year and you're like an influencer or whatever, like you're trying to be, or if you're a big coder, you're trying to be on the biggest projects, you should be out there trying to make an IP for yourself and a brand around your name. So like when people see that, what's his name? It's like, he's a developer. His name is like OX something. And like everyone trusts him. He's like the #1 smart contract auditor person. If you can try and become that for whatever you're good at, you want to be the #1 community manager. When people think strong projects, they think of which community managers they have. Like, who are they? What kind of person are they? If you can build that brand as the guy, then you'll get hired by some people and you'll be the person that people go to. So that's where I think your biggest bet is on. If you're like somewhat self-disciplined and have a skill or are willing to learn a skill. Right.
Yeah, I did say V-Bucks. Yeah, I completely agree. Building like a cash flow business or investing in yourself as like a reputable person is so much better long term. Like if you don't have a decent amount of money, there's just no point fucking investing in stocks. Like, okay, what, you're gonna make a few $100s over a fucking year? Like, you're a fucking loser. Like, I'm sorry, but that's a waste of money. Like, invest it in yourself and do something. You're gonna have way better gains that you can control to some extent. Like, it's okay to put small amounts of money into really low cap coins and stuff, but if you've got like $1,000 and you're putting it in Bitcoin, like, I'm sorry, but you're fucking retarded. Like, that is dumb. Like, there is so much better returns that you can get online by just figuring out how to do things that are like creating services that people need, just finding those gaps and critically thinking about stuff. Just like actually use your brain instead of just doing what like billionaires do, because like, yeah, they're going to double their money over 5 years and have $1 billion extra. You're going to have $2,000 extra. Like, it's not the stock market isn't there's no point. You need to DCA with a cash flow business that you build by investing in yourself.
Right.
There's just no point following what these people do. Like, unless you're gonna DCA over like a 1.5 year period into a low cap coin like Cardano, like Ryan did, with very small amounts of money, but for a very long period of time, like that is worth doing,
right?
Because it's a long period of time, it's decent amounts of money, and it's DCA into a low cap. Like, all of those things need to be bright. But if you're just putting $1,000 every month into Bitcoin, like, you should diversify your assets to some extent, but like investing isn't just like, I feel like investing isn't putting, I don't know, it's better than keeping it like as just like cash, because it's going to be like, inflation is just going to kill
maybe
it.
like if you only have like $1,000, it doesn't matter if you're getting 8% on that, right? It doesn't, like, there's a difference between trading and investing. Like, investing is locking up your funds for a year or two because you think a company would be bigger in a year or two. Trading is like trading to get your money out in a few weeks is more than it was before. Like what I'm doing with shitcoins, making money and then losing money, then making money, then losing money. But it's like $100, $200 difference. Like, it's not actually a big deal. It's not going to make or break my net worth. Right. And like, that's where people are getting wrong, because they think that people are trading their way to wealth. I'm like, no, these motherfuckers have businesses and they take an X percentage from that, which is what all the big finance people are saying right now. They're like, whatever you can do to get strong income every month, whatever it is, a job, a business, whatever you got to do, get cash flow. And over the next 24 to 36 months, just buy stuff. Just small percentages, just buy stuff for the next couple of years. You'll be better off in 5 to 10 years if you do this strategy. It's relatively pretty simple. So like for me, I'm just investing as much as, and for the past 10 months, I'm doing the same, invest in my IP and brand to be the guy. So when my opportunity comes across home plate, I can swing for the fucking hills and try and hit a triple, try and hit a home run, like whatever I can do. But it's going to be all that lead work that you've been doing. And like for yourself, the same, like you've been in the NFT space for the same amount. You might get something that comes across your plate as just undeniable. And you're like, holy shit, I can't believe this opportunity is here. But it is because of the brand you've made.
Yep. Exactly. You like
legend.
Yeah, and the millionaires and billionaires like the Michael.
Yep.
It's
Michael?
like they're playing a different game to the normal everyday investor. It's not. It doesn't work the same. And I think at the end of the day, people are lazy though, and they want to just like throw money into a stock or into Bitcoin and say that they're investing instead of investing in themselves, because that takes a lot more work. But it's like, like if you put money into Bitcoin, you can't do anything to make Bitcoin go up, but you can put money into yourself and do something to make it go up. Like investing in yourself is literally like investing into the stock market. It's just you have full control versus having zero. And it's not the same game. That's why I hate like people. I don't know. It depends. Like, if you're in a situation where maybe like you're studying or something to become like a lawyer, and you're like you have zero time to like invest in yourself to build like a business because you're doing something specifically, like that is like one of the only scenarios I feel like it's worthwhile. But even then, it's like for people in Web3 though, especially that are trying to like grow a brand and maybe like develop a career out of thin air, like investing into Ethereum is going to do nothing. But like you're saying, like putting time into, I don't know, like buying courses or buying your way into groups to network is going to be a better investment, because you're investing in yourself, but you need to actually do the work at the same time.
Exactly.
You can't just buy an alpha group pass and then expect returns. Like there needs to be effort.
Yeah, you have to become the leader, or else like you're not gonna just be able to, like you can't ask a leader what a leader would do if you're not gonna plan on being the leader for your own thing, because they're gonna do something in the perspective of being the leader of what they're gonna do, so they're gonna go make it happen. But if you're gonna ask a billionaire how he's gonna spend his money, he's got money to leverage and like make him more money. If you don't have any money, you have to do what that guy did when he was 25, not what he did when he's 70 with billions of dollars. Like it's a different strategy at that point. Like you're not going to have the same answer or perspective. Like you just can't use money the way you can if you have a massively cash flow business. You can do whatever you want if you got $10,000 a month coming into your bank account no matter what. Like some of these guys with NFT projects, they had a shit ton of money coming in. They got like $1 to $5 million off their mint and royalties and stuff, and they got a shit ton of money to do stuff. Like they have an exponentially easier chance to make something cool happen because they have all that money. But if you don't have $5 million, you have a different strategy.
Yeah, exactly. Orion said, "I hate to say it, easier said than done." Like as a quote, that's because that's what kind of everyone says. But obviously it's not easy. That's the whole thing. It's a competition. That's what
facts.
Business is, money is. It's just a big competition. You can either just not play by getting a normal job, and that's a different competition in itself. But if you want to be like a entrepreneur, I guess, and make money in a way that you're going to have a bit more control, then that is a competition with everyone else that's trying to do the exact same thing. So if you, so the whole thing, it's like if you act, it's your view on money and the decisions you make, and if you act what you act the same way 99% do, that's the way you're going to turn out. Like you need to take an extra step forward yourself and make that effort, otherwise nothing will change.
Yeah exactly. Do you have this is like one of the last things we say, do you have something that you remember being like the hardest thing you've worked through?
Just what do you mean, like business wise?
Yeah, like I don't know if you have any specific like business wise or life wise, like anything that pops in your head that stands out that you remember fighting through. Like took a lot of mental energy, took a lot of commitment and stuff. I know Ryan, VC is a venture capitalist. They just have a lot of money. They invest in companies that are startups and stuff a lot.
For myself, I don't know. I feel like what I'm doing right now is probably the most mentally intense thing I've done, because it's just constantly trying to like create stuff out of thin air a little bit. It's kind of like just there's no guide on what we're doing. There is just references that there's people that you can reference and try to recreate that success in like your own way. And just like constantly pivoting is kind of draining. It's definitely a lot of stress. I think that's probably doing what I am doing right now. Because before I was doing this stuff, I wasn't doing anything that was super mentally strenuous, like doing uni, I think, and like making putting beats up every day on YouTube, like making beats every day on YouTube is like not. It's like it's just a different headspace. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it wasn't something that I felt like was. It was hard at the time, but looking back on it, it's like it wasn't that. I don't know. It wasn't that hard. It wasn't that it wasn't that much mental exercise. Like it's really hard to explain. I don't know. Like just having to think all the time about stuff that you can do
Yeah.
and ways that you can, like, if you're just copying someone, it's like, okay, it might be a lot of physical work or a lot of, it can be tiring, but coming up with new ideas and trying to make shit out of thin air is like a completely different beast, which is, I feel like, what most like companies have to deal with. That's kind of like building a company or building, and like a following, or like if you're doing YouTube or something. Like a lot of these people that didn't copy people to come up, that built stuff out of straight thin air. It's like it's so weird. It's a weird headspace to be in, to think like, because you got to be thinking like no one else is. You got to kind of look at stuff and be like, okay, but what if this wasn't the case? Like, what could I do differently about this that's going to set me apart from other
Right.
people? Which is yeah, it's difficult. It's also stressful because you don't know what's going to work and what's not going to work.
Yeah, there was someone who said a great thing here. He said, I think it was Michael. He says there's a rug and a project that just failed. Yeah, I think a rug is more like when the founder takes the money for themselves and just gives it to themselves, like a salary that they earned, and then they just leave the project. I think that's what a rug is. You're absolutely right. There is projects that just fail. It sucks, but like that's just how it is. And then good question here from Orion. He says, following up on the VC question, how do you quarrel and acquire the said funds to be a VC, and how do you satiate those investors? The VC question was not rhetoric. Yeah. I mean, VC, I don't know where I mean, they get their money from like making money. They make their business or whatever. They get a shit ton of money. They become a VC, and then they say, okay, like let's talk to some startups. Let's become like a angel investor, or potentially even what's it called? I don't know what the word is, just like buy the company or whatever it is, or invest in the company. But VC funds are just a bunch of rich people who just put their money into stuff. And then if they make a lot of money from that trade, then they take some of their money out or whatever they're getting from their equity, and then they put it into another company, and then they just grow their portfolio like that. So it's hard. It takes a long time.
It's like super volatile stocks. It's like NFTs, the NFTs of stocks. I feel like just companies. It's like
ultra wealth game. That's like the ultra wealthy game. Like you have millions of dollars. Like, let's just try this thing. Like this company's going to try to do this. Okay, here's 25K. Here's 100K. Here's $1 million kind of thing. It's like Shark Tank. So yeah, that's a world I probably won't ever get in. I don't know if I'd love money enough to get that kind of money. I love money enough to be able to do things I want to do without having to worry about the bills. But that's about where I'm gonna stop. Like that's why I know I'm not really cut out for business, because I don't care about it like that. I don't care about continually like growing. Like I like growing the brand and the IP, but that's not always tied to how much money you can make. Like I feel like they're in hand for a lot of things, but then there's some things that you make a decision because it makes more money, and there's another direction you go because you're like, I think it builds more brand. And at different points in your career with the brand, you'll make a different decision. Like if you have not that much money in the beginning, you're going to make a decision probably that gets you more money in the short term because you're getting started. But when you've got a lot of money, you're going to make another decision that pushes your brand more because you don't need the money. So just different. Yeah. All right. And then I have one last question here, fam. If you guys have any last minute, we're going to do a last rapid question. If you guys have one, though, drop in the chat. My final question. I got to see which one looks interesting here. All right. Okay. This will be a two-part. Do you have what's your biggest fear? And then do you have any guilty pleasures that are kind of embarrassing?
Biggest fear.
Like spiders, something random. Like, do you have like an irrational fear of anything weird?
I don't like snakes.
No?
Spiders aren't too bad. We get a lot of them. Snakes you don't really see as much as you'd think in Australia, but I hate snakes. I was thinking biggest fears on a more philosophical
here's the
version, but that's why I couldn't think of something. But like, I guess just not being able to like accomplish what I'm trying to do, I feel like. But like at the same time, I don't think about it much, because it's like if you're thinking about that sort of stuff, then it's just gonna happen.
Yeah.
So I'm trying not to dwell on that. A guilty pleasure.
Any shows that you
I
like
don't know.
that are like weird that people would probably laugh at you for? Any hobbies that you like doing, or thoughts about things that other people like an unpopular opinion?
I don't know. Probably not. I can't think of anything. Like I'm not. I don't feel that way about like stuff. Like I don't think I watch anything that's weird, or I can't even.
Okay, how about this? What are your thoughts on Neuralink? This will be a philosophical question too. Like, what are your thoughts on becoming cyborgs, basically, which is almost seems inevitable at this point?
Yeah, I think that's. Well, I think it's gonna happen, and I think it's gonna be very, very weird. Like, I think it's gonna like everything that TikTok is doing to and stuff related to not just TikTok, but the way people are going with social media and like these kids and stuff, like they're gonna get to a spot that we've never seen before, and then this Neuralink stuff is gonna just take us to that next step where we're just gonna become completely different people than what we are right now, and it's gonna be like it's gonna be very odd, the world we live in. I don't know if we're gonna get to that point though, like
But it'll be
soon.
normal to us. Like, it's not like it's gonna happen one day. We're all gonna be like, "Whoa, where did that come from?" It's just gonna be like a natural next step, it's like the next iPhone update, the next Snapchat update. You're like, "Wow, a new filter. That's pretty wacky." And then like the next week, it's like, "Oh, it's another wacky filter." And then a few months later, you're like, "Damn, like we're out here like with full out AR at this point," you know?
That's true. It's gonna be wild if people are able to actually like utilize that sort of technology in every day. Like we're already kind of cyborgs the way we use our phone, and people are attached to that. Like it's already kind of there, to be honest. It's just gonna be how easy and how quick it's gonna be to like take advantage of that technology. Like we're already, I think, yeah, like you're saying, like when we get to that spot, it's not gonna be like out of the blue. It's like, oh my god, what the fuck? It's gonna be like, oh yeah, it's really not that different. It's just
True.
like it feels weird at the time, but then it's just gonna be like, I'm sure that's how people felt thinking of like a mobile phone back in the
Yeah.
day, where it wasn't something that you could just carry around and continuously have battery all the time and have access to the internet wherever you are. But like maybe they didn't even think about that sort of stuff at the time. Like that
Yeah.
wasn't even a thought. So it's kind of like what I don't know, what will a Neuralink thing really actually be like? Like
The weirdest thing for me will be the unlimited access to any information ever at the second. Like you can just know
yeah.
what everything about something. Like at the internet, you have the internet's accessibility to everything. You're like, hey, what does that sign say in Chinese? You're like, well, it says exactly this right now. Well, we'll see how good like Google Translate is at that point. But like for the most part, anything you want to know, you can just look at it and click a button, and it's like boom, you know it, because your brain's hyperlinked to fucking access of information. Like our 7-year-old kid's going to be smarter than a person who's lived 100 years of life. You know, like that's the kind of thing that I'm interested in, like how that affects your soul. Like, do you become an old soul because you know everything about everything at the age of 7, or like what does that do for people? You know?
Yeah, looking how people react to it is going to be super interesting. That's what I mean. It's like
Yeah.
we don't know how the kids are going to turn out that grew up on technology the way they are now. Like
Yeah.
I can't think. I'm probably too young. I feel like as soon as I was on like the internet, like Facebook existed and stuff. So I kind of grew up with all of that, and I guess yeah, you would have too. It wouldn't have been. Was MySpace even?
I was like right after that. Like when I was like in 10th grade, I got Instagram. That was my first social media though, I think. Like
Okay.
I think maybe I had Facebook, but I didn't use it. So like my first I basically went all the way to 16 before social media was a thing at all. Like their influencers weren't really a thing. I was probably 19 before I realized social media was like a thing. So that's crazy. Like I got to basically the age of a man before like social media was the thing for me in my life. So it's good for fitness. Like I got a really strong base of an athletic build before I realized, oh, I got to shred if I'm going to be in the fitness industry. I got to be ripped and have abs 24/7. Like I'm glad I didn't grow up with that when I was 15.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I think I got an iPhone 4 right as they came out.
Okay.
So
Was that like middle school for you or like high school?
yeah, iPhone. Let me see. Um. Whoa. 2010, I guess. So year 4,
Whoa. Okay.
grade 4. We don't have middle school, by the way. It's just primary and high school.
Okay.
So I guess I got that in like year 4 or year 5, I think. I think it was right around when it came out, maybe like a year after. So let's say like grade 5 or something. So I remember using like the email instant messaging thing, or like emailing my friends to talk to them. Like I was old enough for that, and then using Skype to talk to my friends while playing like Minecraft and RuneScape.
Skype. Oh my god, I remember that.
Yeah. So or like Kick was a big one
Oh
back in the day.
fuck, dude. Kick was that was legend. For anyone who's trying to be a
Yeah.
player, you gotta have Kick. You gotta have Kick. You gotta ask those weird ass questions at 2 a.m. on Kick.
Yeah. So like I remember getting Facebook, I think like around that time, or maybe like year 6. So like as soon as I was on the internet, but like yeah, before that, even on the computer playing RuneScape and stuff, I was still kind of on social media, but not Instagram was not what it is now. It was
Right.
completely different. Facebook was not. People were playing fucking Farmville. Like there was no social media. I feel like social media for me didn't really start till maybe high school, maybe year 6 to year 7 to year 8. So
True.
like, which is I think pretty much exactly what you said. If you said you
Yeah.
said what, year 10 or
Yeah, it was probably like 10th grade, so I was like 15, 16.
so same for me then. It would
Did
have
you grow
been
up with Webkins then? Did you know what Webkins is?
what's that?
Bro, how
That
the
sounds
fuck do
familiar.
people not know about it? Nobody knows. I've been saying Webkins for like a few weeks now, like after I like remembered it. Webkins is this stuffed animal you buy at the store or online, and you get a
Yeah, no,
barcode attached to it. The barcode is your NFT. Like the barcode number, specific number that you get, ties to a real digital character of your stuffed animal that you bought in the Webkins world. It's like Toontown, it's like RuneScape or like Animal Farm, but you own that character, and it's so weird because like that's NFTs backwards. You buy the stuffed animal, it comes with the code, and now you play in this world. It's like Sims. There's Sims mode. There's games mode. You can play whatever game. Dude, the Webkins setup, if Webkins ever jumped into the NFT world, would be lit because that would actually work. They made it work because millions of people were playing that shit. And then it kind of just like lost attention, I guess. But
It looks like it shut down at the start of 2021.
oh, it actually shut
Um,
down. Like it's done.
Yeah, because it needed the Flash plugin to run the browser version. So there might
Fuck.
be like ported versions for your computer, but like, Flash
Damn.
was no longer being accessible, I guess. So yeah, I remember doing like it's funny that I had a similar scenario with like Club Penguin.
Oh yeah.
Club Penguin was probably the first like social media because I talked to people
Yeah,
on
it
that.
probably
Like I
was.
meet my friends in that. One of the first ones I did at least, and you go to the store and buy the physical plush Club Penguin, and you get a code on the back, and you put that in, and you'd get stuff in game, not the penguin itself, but like related stuff. So a little bit similar. That's really cool though. That existed like
Yeah.
way back
And
2005.
it mattered, dude. Rarity mattered at that point. Like there were some that were
Really?
like that. You'd have the real stuffed animal, but it had a weird issue because it was launched with 20,000 other ones that they until they cut off the supply because they realized the paw had four fingers or something like stupid like that. And so like those ones were
What?
like super rare because people like didn't see that in the avatar, and like the avatar had a weird thing on it, and it was like weird because they had rarity, and like there were some Webkins that were better than others that costed more that you couldn't buy. That you could buy like on resale value for more money because they only ran a few hundred limited amount or something. So it literally was NFTs.
Once you redeemed it, like minted it, could you do it again?
No, but there
Or
were
would it
ways
be
to like
locked?
transfer ownership somehow. I forgot how it was. Like I assume you just gave them your login information, or I don't know exactly how it worked. I don't know if there's actually trading on it, but I think there was ways to be able to utilize it. But I also don't know if at that point individual identity online mattered yet. Like I don't know if there were like forums where you'd walk around with your cat or whatever you had to flex. Like I don't remember if it got to that level. I mainly remember it because I played and it was my individual thing. So I would take care of my little home that I had. I would play whatever games they were doing, and that was just my thing. I didn't really worry about other people.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how games react to the idea of being able to sell your in-game items, because I don't think it's more profitable. Like they're only going to do it if it either one is more profitable, then they'll easily obviously do it. I don't think it will be though. Or two, the entire user base is demanding it, and it like becomes the norm, and then games have to adapt. Like for something like Fortnite, I don't think they would make more money if their in-game assets were tradable, because there'd just be less chance of people buying.
Well, they would
skins
get a
in-game.
really big amount of money up front from the mint.
For the mint. What do you mean?
Like if they made a collection from them and like made all of them tradable, like I'm not sure how that would work because they'd already have all the ones that exist already. But like, I mean, if they did a mint with like 75,000, like Parallel Alpha is an NFT project game, they sold like thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of NFTs for their game. They're not worth that much because someone's playing, like not as many people are playing the game, but they sold like a shit ton that I assume they made a ridiculous amount of money.
Well, I mean, like, say Fortnite tomorrow said, hey, we're integrating blockchain into our game. Now every in-game asset, every skin for your pickaxe, your backpack, your glider, your character skin, your emotes, everything can now be traded peer-to-peer or on our Fortnite Epic Games marketplace, and it's going to act the same way CSGO does with their skins. Like, if they did that, yes, it would be huge news at the time, and they'd get royalties for all of these sales, and they make a shit ton of money the same way Steam does with CSGO. But over time, would their sales go down because buying the skins off the off the Fortnite marketplace is no longer the only way to get a new skin on your account? So I think if that's the case, like, I don't see the companies doing it, because they all they care about is money at the end of the day. Like, the investors aren't gonna fuck with that, even if there is like a bump in the short term. Although you see stuff like CSGO being so popular still because it is a good game, but also just because of that secondary market for the skin. Like, how familiar are you with CSGO and how that works?
Not enough, dude. I need to know more about it because that's a world that's just so big. And like, I know whoever takes over that world, like, I don't know if it'll be like a streamer. Like, I don't know how people are gonna be able to capitalize on it as like a content creator. But I want to get into that world just to understand it more because there's just so much money. Like say for example, you become a streamer and you get a company that sponsors you, maybe it's Cause, just to have the Cause in the background. And now all you do is play the game. You get more interaction because people want to play the game. They learn, they play, they stream. You get a lot of money from sponsors, like typical normal Web2 style brands. And it's just like a lot of money. And I see that world streaming. Like, that's why I'm so big on doing streams on podcasts. Because if someone likes my podcast one day and they've got if it's like Celsius, for example, and I just stick the can right here in the corner of every single podcast, they're going to know after a few months, like, Cade fucks with Celsius. Why does he fuck with Celsius? I fuck with Cade. Let me see what this is about. And I just see a lot of opportunity in a whole different areas for that.
Two things. One, Cause is in Fortnite. Do you know that?
Is it really?
Yeah, you can play as
What
Cause.
do you mean? What the
figurines?
Fuck? Wait, I need to see what that looks like.
And also, do you know that Dr. Disrespect is creating a blockchain related game?
That could be cool. If he does it right and doesn't fuck himself, that could be good. Cause and
there's like there's beta gameplay came out like a week ago. It's like it's meant to be like a top-down multi-level first-person shooter. It's interesting. And he used to do game like development with COD and shit, right? Like, he used to make maps, so he knows what he's talking about for sure. And he's like he has a massive dedicated community. That might be like one of the most successful things ever. Yeah, there you go.
If he does it right, if he does it right,
around.
That's fucking lit, dude. Yeah, Cause is one of my favorites. Like, for me, Gucci is my favorite hype brand. Like, I have I love Gucci. Like, this is one of my what's it called, like a little wallet thing that you hold like cash in. Yeah, I love this thing. I love Gucci. And I got my Gucci slippers. Hold on. These things are beat up. I've had these for like 6 years.
Oh, yeah. Someone was talking about this.
Yeah.
It might have been I heard Tom or Liam talking about
fucking,
it.
like, literally, there used to be fur all the way around. It's gone. Like, it's literally gone. And they're like fucking destroyed on the bottom. But I love Gucci. These things are high quality. I mean, I spent like $500 or $600 on the shoes, I think, when I was like in high school with my first ever paycheck. I was like, fuck it, dude. Fuck it. I'm going to make more money in 2 weeks. I don't even need this money. Let me just buy these slippers.
Oh, God. That's funny.
Yeah, no, I love Gucci and Cause.
It was like, well, like, and just touch on with the core stuff for Fortnite, like, when they go to this next stage, because they have a creative mode, right? So, like, the Battle Royale is the most popular thing. They have a creative mode where people can create their own stuff. They're doing a version 2 of that, which is, I think they're going to use a lot of the tech that they have in Unreal Engine, which is the main way people like create games. It's like the engine that everyone uses to create stuff. It's the engine that Fortnite runs on. They're going to do a second creative mode. So then you're going to have, houses and stuff in this metaverse, and you're going to have the Cause figurine figure like character you have, but then you might have the cause figuring collectible kind of NFT digital asset, but it's going to be owned via your account and you're not going to be able to trade it. So it's like going off like something like Fortnite, for example. I think for in-game assets that can be traded, the metaverse overall is going to be the most like the easiest way people are going to make just disgusting amounts of money. Because if you think about having like a sandbox kind of mode and a game like Fortnite that is so diverse in terms of what you can make in it, having the ability for characters to build stuff, but also like advanced fighting, there's so much that can be done where you just have, you have people just jumping in game to their creative to then go in their house, to go in their metaverse, to meet their friends and talk in the game. They already do it. And like, they're going to be doing that. And then they're going to go play some Battle Royale. Then they're going to go watch some Dragon Ball Z. Then they're going to go play ice hockey in someone's house in Fortnite. And it's like, okay, slap some VR goggles on there. They're in the fucking metaverse at that point. It's just, that's like the only thing that's not going to be like, I think the VR goggles is what people think when they think metaverse, but it's not going to be that, I feel like, for a long time before that becomes like super accessible and like the tech isn't like a massive thing on your head and it's like just like little goggles or something like that.
Yeah.
But so what I was going to say was CS:GO, the way their game works is like do you know how CS:GO, like what kind of game it is?
I don't know too much about it at all. I mean, actually, you know what? I probably would. Let me pull up a photo of it so I can like draw a visual while you're talking about it.
Yeah, so
I've definitely seen some stuff.
First person shooter, super competitive game, like a massive competitive scene. It's been out for like years, like 10 years plus now.
Oh wait, no, I think I've actually played this game before.
Yeah, most people have. They made it free a few years ago, which brought on a ton of new people. But basically, the main thing that has made it so big is that the skins in game, the only asset that you can trade and that there's a Steam marketplace for are skins. So there's no like it doesn't make you better in any way, shape, or form. It's simply skins that make your guns look cool. Okay. And you get them by opening cases. So there were like a case that came out when CS:GO first started, where people bought keys for $2.50 and then bought the cases that dropped in game. And then you combine those and then you open the case and you get stuff out of it. And they're just skins for your in-game items. That just went through seasons and seasons and seasons. So like the original ones got rarer and rarer and rarer. And then certain skins were more rare than others, like in these boxes that you were basically opening. So you've got this whole like gambling aspect of it. And basically it's gone to the point now where this whole collectors and ecosystem that's built strictly off the skins itself. And the flex that you have by earning them, because they literally do nothing else but just you can flex them in game and use them in game. And the game's that big that they actually matter. So there was this whole gambling side of it where, like FaZe Clan were involved and a bunch of stuff. That's how they actually made their money to buy their pro CS:GO team. They like made a gambling site, like FaZe Banks did it, which is one kind of very sketchy thing he did, but that no one really talks about. But they made like a gambling site. So like myself as a kid was gambling CS:GO skins, which was real world money, on these like gambling sites with zero authentication of age, because it was just an in-game asset. So there were all these third-party sites where you could sell them and then get their credit and then like withdraw to PayPal. It was so easy. They had a massive crackdown on it, and now there's like 1 week.
Hearing about it.
Yeah, this was like a 1 week trade ban. Every time you trade an item, like you can't just like trade it back and forth and swap stuff. But like there's still ways to get around it. A lot of those sites have become mainly crypto gambling focused now. But it's the biggest example of in-game owned digital assets. Steam makes a shit ton of money off royalties every time one is sold on the Steam marketplace. There's third-party marketplaces, but at the end of the day, you don't have ownership like you would if it was an NFT. So it's 100% the most, like, that is the use case for NFTs in game. But if that was in Fortnite and then they take it to the level of the metaverse, it will be a completely different beast. Because if you own stuff in game that you can sell and you can make real money in the game, you will live in it, because you don't need to go anywhere else if you can make money in the game. That's
why it's hard for me to leave this fucking office, because I'm like, yo, all my money comes from me doing stuff here at my desk. So like the better use of my time is here doing stuff on my desk because I can do things and I can put out content and someone will see it. And like that's one thing that actually that's interesting is about with FaZe Banks. So you said it was kind of sketchy. I remember hearing about that thing and I was like, you know what, that does sound kind of sketchy. But the way Banks talked about it is just like I've been in a couple conversations. I don't know about you, where about halfway in I realized I'm part of a bad thing, and I'm like in this meeting and I'm like, oh shit, like they're talking about some fucked up stuff and they're gonna go through with it. And like, I'm going to make a lot of money if I just say, okay, and like become part of this thing. Essentially just like like a lot of marketing, a lot of pumping, and like, it's more likely going to be a pump and dump. And I remember like being in this conversation, like the way they were talking about it was very salesy. Like I can feel myself being like sold to, and I could feel that energy coming from them. But I remember like, as they were talking about it in my head, I'm like sitting there going, you know what, like I could make this work. Like, it's actually not that so bad because if I think about it like this, and I started making up situations in my head where it's actually justifiable. And then after I got off the call, I was like, okay, so I'm going to probably make like $80,000 if I just do this one thing. And it's not really a big deal. It's not actually that direct of a thing. I was like, like maybe this isn't so bad. And then after like a couple of days, I was like, no, I got to get out of this. This is not it. But with FaZe, like, so he went through with it. But I guarantee you, in the way he thinks about it, that way it went down, is not the way that people perceive it who think it was fucked up. Because in his head, he's like, no, it's okay. Because like we did this thing and it wasn't actually illegal because of this and that. And it's just an interesting idea that like, we're in this situation too, where we could be potentially part of something where it's really fucked up from a lot of people, except when we think about it from our own perspective, we maybe justify it as not so bad.
No, yeah, really good point. I think, yeah, definitely. To some extent, that is definitely the same situation. It was just interesting the way they used it to convert the company. Because at the time, FaZe Clan wasn't really the brand it is now, collaborating with all these like massive people. It really was just like a gaming clan.
Right.
They were just making YouTube videos, and now they have a bunch of MLG teams. Like they're big in the pro scene for a lot of different games now, and it all started because just they all got into CS. They were all opening cases, and then just promoting that through their channels to that audience. Was literally what gave them. I think like they made so much money, it was fucked. Which then they literally just bought out a team and then just went from there. Like if they didn't do that, it's kind of crazy. I don't know where they would be now if they would be at the exact same spot. It's kind of like there's some big money behind FaZe. Obviously, they just went public as well.
Right. Yeah. About that. Yeah. There's like small decisions. Like I heard this on a podcast. There's like certain decisions that you will make in a business career or your brand career that will like define your entire everything. And if you make the wrong decision, you'll fuck yourself, or it just won't be a big deal, and you will have missed your big swing. You know what I mean? And like sometimes I think about like with what's it called, D-Gods. They bought that basketball team, and I'm like, I wonder if that was like their biggest play. Like in 5 years, they'll look back and go, yeah, because we bought that fucking basketball team, we got this other deal, and this other thing happened. I'm like, fuck. Like there's decisions like I wonder that I've made that have been like super. Just like indicative of like where I'm at, and like maybe I could have been way bigger, or I would have gotten fucked over in my first couple of months. But it's just crazy that we have the ability, and there will be situations where something comes across your table and it's like going to be career defining what you say in that 60 minutes, you know, makes me kind of nervous.
For sure. Same. Yeah. Foresight is everything. That's why having experience, I think, is so good. It's like the Parallax on YouTube, you know,
I like him.
That guy, he came into the space so polished and so ready to go because he already had a YouTube channel that was doing really well. So he just, because of that knowledge, he just came in and fucking killed it, and he's continuing to kill it because he has that streamlined process where like a lot of the guys, including myself, came in without experience doing this before, like daily stuff, not having an editor, thumbnails, doing a lot of stuff for the first time. I had experience a little bit, but not to this degree. And like running a company or running a business, not having that experience, not having that foresight, so therefore making mistakes and then burning out and whatever the case was. Like he's been able to come in and consistently push out content since the very start with no issues. Well, I'm sure there would have been issues and hiccups behind the scenes, but like from a public perspective, and that's literally just from experience and having foresight of going, okay, this is going to work because this has worked in the past. So it's like, yeah, businesses like that, like FaZe, I think, yeah, if they didn't take that opportunity, who knows where they would be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, that shit is crazy. Here's a fun question for Michael. He said, do you have any for like a rapid fire fuck, marry, kill? You know, if you did this, Michael, it'd have to be some projects that we know about. Like I I don't know most. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know most projects that are new or have been started in the last few months. If you call OG projects, I probably have heard of them if they've got some hype and attention. But like let's do one real quick. So like CyberKongs, Cool Cats, Doodles, Zuki.
Well, why are we doing 5 if it's fuck, marry, kill?
Oh shit, you're right. Okay, Azuki, Doodles, Kongs. Because Kongs has come down quite a bit. Their token is super far down.
What this really is invest long term, flip, and FUD to the ground.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
That's pretty much what it is. Oh,
Yeah.
he's got. I think Michael was going to say something. He's got Karafuru.
Okay, Karafuru. Okay, I like that project. Honestly, I like their brand.
Yeah, I think it's decent. I don't know actually. I don't know if that's public. About what their deal with. I won't say that actually because I don't know if their deal with Hypebeast and Atmos is public.
I think that is public. I did a review on them a few weeks ago.
No, but the actual percents.
Oh, okay, okay. I don't know about that.
I don't know why I know it. That's why I'm not sure I should.
Yeah,
say it, but
Project Gajira. I don't know actually enough about this project. I've heard people talk about it, but I don't know enough about that project.
Well, Shan's quite good in Neo Tokyo. Okay, wow.
Yeah, okay, let's go for it. Go for it.
I think I'd have to kill Karafuru, fuck Gojira, and marry Neo Tokyo.
Why project? Why would you? Wait, you said you're gonna fuck her or kill Gajira?
I would fuck Gojira.
Why?
Shan's real hot. No, so I think it's not about Gojira being like bad, short term or anything. I think they actually are good long term. They've got a really solid community and stuff. But Neo Tokyo, I think, would be like the best long term. I think because Alex Becker again has crazy experience and has good foresight. So does Elio.
All right, how about Neo Tokyo, Imposters, and
cool.
Journey Club? Got the 3 big whale OGs in the crypto and NFT space. Journey Club for Journey Crypto, Elio Trades Imposters, and Alex Becker with Neo Tokyo.
I don't know enough about what Journey's doing, but he has so much fucking money. But also the others do too. So
that's a tough question right there, bro.
I would go. I don't think Imposters is unless they've got something up their sleeve. I don't like the idea of what they're doing, to be honest. Like the Among Us kind of game. It doesn't make a ton of sense to me. So for that, I would maybe kill them and fuck Journey and still go with Alex.
He's gonna get clipped. He's gonna marry Alex and fuck Journey, but he's gonna have to kill Elio, unfortunately.
But I actually like Elio, and I watch Elio the most out of all of them. But I just don't like. And if you asked about Super Farm, I would probably marry or fuck Super Farm.
Right.
Sounds weird, but Imposters itself, that game, I don't really understand. I just don't like the idea of porting like a Web 2 to a Web 3 game and having that succeed. I don't see how much merit there is in that, or like how much potential there really is. That might be me being ignorant though. Like I don't know enough about it.
Yeah, that's a fucking tough one right there, honestly, for fuck, marry, kill. Like I feel like you go with Neo Tokyo because the potential upside and their just their speculation in the space, like what people think about it. Like a lot of people are upset at Journey because they don't think he's being as transparent about stuff as they'd like to be. He's not making content. And then Elio, they're just not sure about the game. Like, do you tie Imposters? Like, how much is Elio really putting into Imposters? Like their main question. Like, is Imposters everything he's doing, or Super Farm everything he's doing, and Imposters is just a little trial and error kind of thing? And I don't know the answer to that. Doodle, Suzuki, Clone X. This will be the last one. Doodle, Suzuki, and Clone X. Flip, Hodl, and what's the other one?
Flip, Hodl, and FUD.
FUD, okay. Flip, yeah, okay.
I guess it's more like a long-term Hodl, short-term hold.
Okay.
And a flip, I'd say.
That's good. Yeah, what do you think?
No, go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna get rid of Azuki, so I'm gonna FUD Azuki. I think there's a lot of luck involved, and they've got a lot of potential. I don't know. For me, not that special. You know, any of the anime projects could have taken off. I think there was nothing really special about Azuki that I don't really understand it. Clone X, I put it second, I think, because of Nike. Other than Nike, though, I don't see a whole lot there from Clone X. And then I just go with Doodles. I think Doodles is a pretty core Web3 native strong team. They've got a good potential upside. They got a lot of people who bought in expensive, so they're going to be looking for doodles to go up with the most, like they want it to go up, and they believe in the project. They've got Jordan, they've got Evan, who are all OGs. They've got the team from Dapper Labs and stuff. So I just think they have the most potential for upside, but also they have potential for downside. I just think Doodles has a better chance. So how about you?
So Azuki, Doodles, and what was the last one?
Clonex.
Yeah, I think I'd have to hodl long term for Doodles. It's probably the most bullish, although I like Clonex a lot. I'd probably agree with you for all of it. I'd say
It looks like Metazet says the same thing too.
Clonex kills. I don't know enough about Azuki. It doesn't like.
There's not a whole lot there,
like,
dude. There's not a whole lot there. There's speculation.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, if I don't know a whole lot, that just kind of means they haven't done a whole lot. Like, I would know if they've done something amazing. If they've only like saying I don't know anything means like obviously there's stuff that they've done that I don't know about. But if I don't know about it, it can't be that amazing. Like, it's the kind of the gist of it. Like, they've done cool stuff. They have really good branding. And they're like CEO or whatever, that guy that got doxxed. Who runs it, or Zaga, he is super well connected in Web 2. So like that's probably the only thing I'm bullish on with them. But Nike's fucking huge. But at the same time, I don't know how far that can actually go. Like maybe long term, like that is a cool IP, the whole CloneX, and having them as 3D rigged avatars. Like in a metaverse sense, I could see that working quite well. Like Nike, for example, already they haven't done a direct collab with Fortnite, but like Travis Scott's in Fortnite and he's wearing his Jordans. So he's got the Nike pick in Fortnite technically. So it's like they're already so well connected that they've kind of got Web3 already done with CloneX, and then they've got Web 2 with Nike already done, and then kind of tying the two together is like Takashi Murakami. So it's kind of like this full driving force where no one really has that. Like Adidas with Bored Ape, their thing with Bored Ape was like nowhere near on the level of Nike and CloneX.
Yeah,
like that. They're going pretty crazy with that. So not that I'm like super bullish on them short term, but I feel like maybe long term.
Yeah. But, okay. And then this will be okay. So this is actually the last one. So no more commenting. This will actually be the last one. We have Moonbirds, Mutant Ape Yacht Club, and D Gods. That's a really good one.
Okay. It's hard not to be bullish on D Gods right now. Like,
yeah. So how about this for the next for the next year you have to marry it. For the next month you have to fuck it or like flip it. So you'd have to hold for like a month max kind of thing, and then one that you just FUD get out now. I would maybe FUD Moonbirds. I'm like a crazy big fan of Moonbirds, honestly. Like I don't know enough about Kevin Rose either, but I just feel like it's just so much mainly just speculation. People just latching onto the ideas. Kevin Rose, like me and Philip argue about this all the time. I just don't see them. I don't see them as that particularly great. I would probably put D-Gods below it as fuck D-Gods for the month. I think they got a lot of tension right now, but who knows if they can hold it. I do know the Bored Ape and Mutant Ape Yacht Club system has able to maintain their hype and brand for over a year. So I would have to go with Mutant Ape as a hodl.
Yeah, I'd FUD Moonbirds, and but I would take D-Gods for the year over Mac, and I'd take Mac for the month, just because I think the Apes kind of marketing ploy is super superficial, and I don't know how long they can keep that up, because it's kind of like we'll pay this influencer to own one, we'll pay this one, we'll get them to do a show at the VMAs. All of their stuff is like, I feel fucking super manufactured. D-Gods have kind of the Web3, like unless something goes wrong with Utes, like again, like it's kind of the less you do, like if you do nothing, you can't really get fudded if you promise to do nothing. It's the CryptoPunk effect. They can't get cancelled because they don't do anything.
Yeah,
like Yuga's not doing anything with them. Like how?
That's a good point.
Popeye brought this up to me. I think it was in DM like a couple of weeks ago. I think it was Popeye, and it was just how do they like they don't just dump out of nowhere because they don't do anything that fails.
True. Wait, who? Okay, before we move into that a little bit more, like who's Popeye again? I know his name, and I know people know him, and I know his profile picture, but I don't know who is he a YouTuber?
Yeah, so he was coming up around the same time as me. But he was more Twitter side, I was more YouTube side.
Gotcha.
And he was doing calls in the Magic Mushroom Clubhouse as well.
Oh, okay,
Not
okay.
as well. I didn't do them. He did though.
So that's how
So he
that's how
got
people
really
know him
popular for
then.
that. Yeah, and he got really big off doing that. A lot of Twitter followers, and then started making YouTube videos. My roommate edits for him now.
Nice,
I
nice.
literally did a thumbnail for him like right before we got on. Because I made a new
Legend.
thumbnail template for him, for my roommate, because he's not good at them, so I made
Cool.
one up. And yeah, no, so I'm just good friends with him from just talking over time. But yeah, he's done he's got his alpha group that he runs with another guy, and he is really fucking smart, like developer solidity wise.
Nice. He's got an alpha
And
pass, someone said.
he works for Imposters with Ilya.
Whoa.
He works for him. Yeah.
That's dope. Very cool. Very cool. Astral thoughts on D-Guys owning a basketball team. Risky but cool. Different. And then okay, here's a good one. If you put them all together, wait, someone said it. Who wrote it? Someone. Okay, he said last one, all the huddle winners against each other. This would be a great place to finish it.
Oh,
Fuck.
okay, yeah.
Okay, so who is it?
So
We've got Doodles.
Was different for both. He's a little different for us.
Oh yeah, so for me it's Doodles, it's Mutant Ape Yacht Club, and it is we did 3, didn't we? Hold on. Let me scroll up here. So we had the Mutant Apes, we had Mutant Apes, D-Gods, and Moonbirds for one of them. So you picked D-Gods.
Oh, Neo Tokyo, that one.
Oh yeah, Neo Tokyo. We both put that. So we both have Neo Tokyo at the top. So
wait, so you have Doodles, Mutants, and Neo Tokyo?
Yeah. That's my 3,
Alright,
and then you've got Doodles,
Doodles,
D-Gods,
and Neo Tokyo.
Okay. Wow, that one's really hard. I don't believe in Mutant Ape and Boy Yacht Club that much. I mean, I believe in them out of the other ones, but in this case, I'm gonna put.
Well, are we doing like invest long term or just a year?
No. Okay, so for this one, let's not do fuck, marry, kill. Let's just put this in order of which ones you would rather put your money into and be part of their brand. So you can either be a Doodles, you can either be a Mutant Ape, or you can either be a Neo Tokyo Citizen. One, like the most expensive one. So
yeah, I would go from third to first, Doodles last, then D-Gods, then Neo Tokyo.
Yeah, this was really hard. And I'm gonna pretend like I've been in all 3 of these. Like I want to be in Mutant Ape Yacht Club just so I can say I've been in it, just to like be part of it. But I'm gonna pretend like I've had all 3 and I experienced what it's like to just have that rush of being in the collection for a little bit. So Metazet says Mutant Apes, Doodles, and Neo Tokyo. I assume you mean Mutant Apes first, Doodles second, Neo Tokyo third, but I don't know. So Metazet, tell me which one is first. For me, I'm gonna put. Fuck, that's really hard. I would probably put Mutant Apes. Neo Tokyo. Neo Tokyo is such a smart decision if you're like, well, I don't know, dude. I mean, I'm not a gamer. I'm also not like involved in the gaming scene. So like, I don't know how much I'd be able to help in that ecosystem and like what exactly you get access to that would help me personally. Doodles has got such high potential upside and also negative. Mutant Ape Yacht Club is just built on pure hype and attention, but it's got enough to make me even want to be in there. But fuck, dude. Yeah, it kind of depends on like how you are as a person, like what your position is. Like mine as a content creator, as a YouTuber, as me personally, Cade, deciding on my own personal things. I'm gonna put, I guess Mutant Apes atop, Neo Tokyo second, Doodles third. Even though I really don't want to. Like I fuck with all 3 of these. This is really fucked up. I like all 3, but
I think that makes sense though from like a content creator perspective.
Yeah.
Like those probably do the most for your brand if you were to
True. Yeah. That was a fucking hard one. So I don't know who, I think that was Michael who put that whole thing on us. That's a really good segment, actually. I'm gonna write that down here for like another.
Yeah, you gotta figure out the actual rules though. I think we changed it every
I know
time.
we had FUD, Flip, or Hodl was like one example of like how we could do it. That was really fucking good. So here's my follow-up question. We'll end this right here. What does your day in the life look like right now?
Right now, I kind of fix my sleep schedule. So I wake up at 8. and then I will make a coffee, iced coffee, and then I will get on, check Twitter, Discord, usually like watch something, maybe put like a live stream up while I do stuff like that, because I can't, like, I like having stuff going on while I
Yeah.
do shit. And then really I don't do that much else but just be on Discord trying to talk to people and make things work, you know,
Yeah.
like trying to figure out ways that we can help the Discord long term, like trying to come up with ideas. So like either doing it on my like whiteboard or stuff like that. I'm gonna start streaming more often though, because I want to go the route of doing like long form content into mid form, into short form. So I'm gonna have my roommate help me out with that. So I'm gonna start doing that, which is gonna be interesting, because I'm trying to do like a kind of like a Twitter Spaces, but with webcams on
Nice.
Twitch.
Yeah, dude, I wish Twitter Spaces had video or a way to like make it more permanent
do it on
or something.
PC. It's fucking dog shit. I hate it.
Yeah.
Like doing it on phone.
Yeah.
You can't even. There's not even a spot to find the Twitter Spaces. I tweeted this the other day. You can't even find the Twitter Spaces
Yeah.
on the PC.
It's so
Like-
it's so stupid. I'm downloading it. Like I
Yeah.
did a podcast on Twitter Spaces because they were having audio issues in their computer. So we saved it. I'm gonna save the Twitter Space. Like you have to like go through all these like steps to save it, but like you can save it as an MP3, and I'm gonna put it on as a YouTube video by like downloading the MP3, putting it into iMovie, or putting it into Final Cut Pro, and then just like putting up my face and then their profile picture, and then just putting the audio there and just making a YouTube video for it, because at least it's permanent on YouTube. But Twitter Spaces is better because I get way more engagement. I can get easy followers. Like every time, I don't know about you, but every time I do a space, I get more followers from it. Like every time. So like it's great for like growing. And again, yeah, Twitter Spaces is amazing for growth. Like if I did a podcast with Voltura on Spaces, I'd have 10 times more people watching and 10 times more engagement. I'd probably get 10 times as many followers than doing it on YouTube. But YouTube helps me a little bit more. So it's really hard. I'm trying to decide like what I want to do, because the Spaces is great, dude. It's like so good for growing. And like people know you. They're like, oh, I recognize him. Versus YouTube, they got 2 extra steps to get to YouTube to find me. So I'm not sure.
You could do like you do the stream like we're doing right now, and then we just have our phones on with the volume all the way down.
But you can't do volume all the way down on Spaces. It goes down to like the lowest one, but it never ticks to silent. So it's so weird. You can always hear it. No, for me it works. I've got noise canceling headphones, but most of the time I guess either have nothing or they have headphones and they can still hear it. So that's so frustrating, dude. It's beyond frustrating.
Yeah, that is annoying. If you could do that, that would be the best, I guess. Like plug some headphones in and then just like sit it there. So you're basically just talking, but we're on stream and we don't even have to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
But it's like then you can't like bring people up though. That's not gonna work then, really, because they're not gonna be able to hear it on stream. So it's kind of it's just not ideal. Like there's not even like a spot that you can go and see like the past Twitter Spaces from someone's Twitter. Like you can't even go to Izu and see all their spaces. Like it's just dumb.
Yeah, it's dumb shit. Michael, FUD Flipper Forever. That's a good one. That's a good way. That's a funny like YouTube series you could do, or you could do on like Twitch. We like bring on people like other YouTubers, other content creators, and do like a little segment like that. Like that'd be actually pretty funny. Or do like pit all the alpha group passes together and say like which one's got the best, like this champ. Like I heard a lot of people love Champ's alpha pass. I don't know too much about it. I like him. I think he's a funny content creator. I think he makes good content, super consistent. But as far as like what you get out of it, that one's tough. Like I don't know enough about those.
Yeah, that's a hard one, because I feel like you need to spend a decent amount of time to understand the value and stuff. Champs is good though. Like his callers that he has are really good, and he's got some cool partnerships and stuff. Like,
for sure.
I think if you like stake his NFT, you earn like a token, and then you can like redeem that for like weekly access to different like tools and stuff. Yeah,
100%. Yeah, that's one thing that you can do if you've got a pass too. And I don't think there's like 20,000 of those pass. I think it's like somewhat limited. So like one thing that people can do if they start making a lot of money or start to become a really big brand is they can have their own little ecosystem, but like make it actually good. And that's where your brand is so important. Because if you have a little ecosystem that's kind of just within your own thing, like if I had a Joyager token or something, and it was just like my own people really trading it. But if I just did a staking model where you can just have it, but I have the capital to make it work on its own because my money comes from elsewhere, then it's like, okay, like every 1,000 tokens, you can redeem it for like a free shirt from the website or something, like something that keeps everything within Joyage, the Joyage Kingdom. And so Michael says he has a chance pass. He loves it. So cool, man. All right, well, right on, dude. This is a fucking ridiculous podcast. Like, part of me wants to just keep going just so we can say we did 4 hours, but like we just crushed it. Like that was a Joe Rogan style podcast just now.
Yeah, it was very easy. Like,
Yeah.
It's sometimes pretty easy to get lost in this sort of stuff and just blabber on for hours.
Yeah.
Obviously, we just did it.
Yeah, that
but
was
no, it
fucking
was
lit.
good. I enjoyed it. Your ability to kind of move conversation is quite good. I was meaning to tell you that actually, because like you've made jokes before, like, well, not really jokes, but talking about like taking over Joe Rogan, trying to repeat that success, I guess. Or like you need to think that way to become like to get to that level. I think maybe something like that. I was gonna say, I feel like you kind of replicate that in your own way in terms of moving the conversation in a way that doesn't sound like an interview, but more of a conversation, but also moves at the same time, which is a hard skill. Like his ability to just continuously talk about the most random shit is fucking, it's insane. Like it seems so natural for him. It would be after that many episodes, but
Sure. Well, I appreciate you saying that.
done 97, so
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I do have a lot of time. I've got a lot of time, honestly. That's probably my biggest asset is like all the Gary Vee things all the things that Gary Vee says and all the people who are a bit older talk about. I'm like, okay, I'm good then. Like I've started. I'm ready to go. Like the ball's rolling for me. So for me, like as long as I keep going, and with Rogan, he's lucky because his guests are interesting, so they want to be there too. Sometimes I'll be in the problem of doing a podcast. The person doesn't really talk really well. It's their first podcast ever. They've never done it before. They don't know how much to talk. And that's where like I end up doing more of the brunt work. And it kind of just like situations. But I think in like 20 years, like I think that's really where my mindset's at. Like I really do want this to be a lifelong brand. Like I assume that's where all those big YouTubers, like when they think about where their brand goes, it's like, well, it doesn't ever really die until like my heart stops beating. Because it's just like whatever I end up doing will just be the brand. So that's my goal with it. But yeah, dude, this is fucking lit. Do you want to shout anyone out here while we're at the end?
No. I was gonna ask, what are you gonna do for episode 100? Because that's only 3 away.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I'm not sure. I was thinking about maybe reaching out to Journey Crypto, seeing if I could land that one. I heard he's really hard to get for a podcast. He's like super private, so I doubt that'll happen. But I'm gonna see maybe Journey Crypto. I'm trying to think if I want to get a YouTuber. Like I thought about maybe like asking Amir to be like episode 100, like someone like that who's like really relevant to Web3, or should I go and like try and get like a project founder? Like episode 50, I think was Subducks, and then I think episode 75 was either Deadfellas or CyberKongs. And I remember being like, okay, 100 has to be like maybe a founder, but now I'm thinking maybe not. So I don't know. I got to make that decision this week.
If you could get Frank from D-Gods, if you did your research enough to get him, he's hard, but like that's K Money and Champ just announced they're doing a podcast, not going to make it or something. So
really? With him?
They've had him, because they had him in person because he lives in
LA,
shit.
Okay, well I got to do someone else. I can't get D-Gods if they got him in person already. That's just that's like second. That's like what's it called? You go in for seconds. I forget what that's called, but I don't know. We'll have to decide. I have to come up with it really soon though because that episode's coming up, and I don't want to. I don't want to like have episode 100 be something like random and be like, oh shit, I like completely forgot about the order of stuff. If that happens, I'll have to like go back and like edit every single, like I'll like delete an episode that wasn't very good or something. And I'll be like, okay, episode 99. No, that'd be funny. All right, guys. Well, anyways,
I'll shout out. I'll just shout out everyone that came and watched. That's I'll meta right now.
Let's go. And especially there's some people who have been here since the very beginning of the episode. Like there's been a consistent number in here. So appreciate it. Some of y'all have been here since the very beginning. So we appreciate you. We appreciate anyone who's been here at all in this stream. If you're watching this live or not, so make sure to smash like, subscribe to the channel, join the kingdom. If you made it to the very end, code word is, let's keep it simple. Keep it simple. Keep it honest. Code word pasta. Code pasta if you made it to the very end. We do appreciate you guys. If this is not your first episode of the Joyage Kingdom podcast, you guys know I want to see OG spammed in the chat. I want to see OG and I want to see pasta spam in the chat. That's what I want to see. But yeah, guys, smash like, subscribe to the channel, follow him. I have his stuff down below in the description. If you guys liked what he had to say, I couldn't imagine you didn't because we just talked about literally everything on earth, and he's a super dope guy. He's gonna be streaming on Twitch. Hopefully, we'll be coming on the Joyage Kingdom. We'll be collaborating and jumping onto the pasta stream. But yeah, man, should be fun. This is a great time.
Thank you for having me. That was fun.
Hell yeah. All right, guys, until next time, continue on your Joyage, continue to learn, and we're going to figure your life watching this video.